Jordan, Sessh, start us off.
Yeah, so this week we played 1000xRESIST. I think is how you're supposed to say it, even though I've been saying X the whole time.
I say X.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 1000 times, but it doesn't matter. This is the first game. It was developed by the first game developed by Sunset Visitor, released on May 9th, 2024. Published by Fellow Traveler, who's most known for publishing Citizen Sleeper. It's a sci-fi thriller adventure game, like borderline visual novel, where you play as Watcher, a clone of the All-Mother, who is a human that is immune to a virus that aliens called the Occupants brought to Earth. You're trying to discover the truth of the world around you, as things may not be as you're told. I mainly chose this game because I heard comparisons of this game to Nier Automata, but I didn't bring that to you guys because I didn't want it to change your opinion or for you to come in being like, oh, that's not like Nier. Nier's so much better, blah blah blah. So, yeah.
So, two things. Number one is, I guess actually only one thing. I say 1000xRESIST. In my brain, it started off as 1000xRESIST, but it morphed into 1000xRESIST as I kind of realized what the meaning behind the title was. And also, am I the only one who didn't realize how obviously it was also meant to be rearranged to be 1000 times sister?
I don't think it's that obvious. I think it's cool
It's
when
not
you see it, though.
It's not obvious because I would have never noticed unless you told me.
I saw it in the video that I linked, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking brilliant."
I didn't watch that video. I should have.
Yeah, you probably would have benefited from the least because I feel like you were probably had more info than the video did.
I watched that video and didn't even catch that part. That's cool.
Yeah, you would have to see it because he doesn't even say it. It's just when it's like a visual thing he does.
Oh, yeah, that would do it.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to say, I think.
I mean, I'm kind of similar in terms of the title thing. I definitely started as 1000xRESIST, and then I watched that video or the interview with the devs, and I was like, oh, 1000xRESIST, that makes sense. And then as I thought about what it meant, like Thomas, I grew to like that as the name. So same kind of arc, but different order.
I still hate the name, for the record. I think it's a fucking shit name.
It is a very, very East Asian name. I'll just say that.
I still say X because I don't know. I'm just too lazy to shit. I'm like I don't particularly care either way. It's just it's muscle memory.
It's weird because when I say the full title in my head, it's 1000xRESIST, but when I type the shorthand initialism for the game, which is just 1KXR, there we go. As you just heard, I just say X.
Oh yeah, you're not supposed to say 1K times R in that for sure.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That just sounds like a Kingdom Hearts title.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's borderline what this is.
Very, very East Asian, like I said.
Well, I mean, let's just jump right into the gameplay. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like gameplay is where I am going to lampoon this game the most, by quite a bit. So if you guys would like to start with something you liked, I'll tag along and we'll go from there.
I got nothing.
I mean, there isn't much. For what it's worth, I enjoyed what was there, and I think I don't know. I'll let you go first, Tom, because I'm sure you have a lot to say, and it might help me elaborate.
I don't have much to say, but I am positive on it. So
yeah, as am I.
I think if we talk about a game like Edith Finch, which is literal zero gameplay, and then a game I don't know, let's off the top of my head, let's just say Estrella, which is all gameplay. I think that this lands somewhere far enough to the right of Edith Finch that I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. There's enough to do when you're actually playing it that isn't just slowly holding W the whole time, that even the communion sections where you're just kind of L2ing around the place were kind of fun. I have a feeling this is just a guess, but Seth is probably going to complain about maybe some of the confusing navigation of the game, because navigating around the actual orchard at first is a real pain in the ass. Then it just kind of gets like emblazoned into your brain and it's fine. But like even in some of the communion sections where like they intentionally obfuscate the route, it's like, why? Like why did this have to be so complicated to just get from point A to point B inside of this very easy like pseudo platforming section? But given the fact that this game like is kind of visual novel forward, there's definitely enough there that it kept me engaged, and I liked that.
Yeah, there was one part where I got lost in one of the communions, and I don't. I'm sure this was intentional, like where the autosave was. I was like, "Fuck this!" So I just died and loaded up the autosave, and it puts you like right at the spot where if you just are like a tiny bit more observant, it shows you where to go. So I appreciated that. But in terms of the gameplay, like when you bring up like the navigation of the map, um, I was gonna bring that up in the UI, but if we're gonna bring it up here, yeah, that shit was, I don't know with it. I mean, I know what they were thinking with it, right? Like it's obvious, and I do appreciate that. Like they went like the extra effort for like that immersive factor with like the map, but it's not a very usable map, at least in my opinion.
So, fun fact, the reason I brought this up in gameplay is because I feel like level design is kind of more gameplay oriented, and also that map was not in the game at launch. They patched that in later.
Yeah, I read about that too. So, yeah.
I don't think the map even really helped. I think it was a shitty map.
Yeah,
I used it a lot in the very beginning, but
I
I'm
used
gonna
it a little
be
bit, but
ten
I still
thousand
didn't
percent
like it.
real. Gonna be 10,000% real. I had no idea there was a map. This is my first time learning about this.
yeah, I think
I
if
mean,
you hold like LB or something, it comes up.
I like the
That's
map
funny.
more
I
as
played on
flavor.
KBM.
It's like a cooler flavor thing than it is like functionality. Because like why they wouldn't put where the NPCs are on the map is like a travesty.
I mean, I kind of touching on Thomas's points, a lot of which I agreed with. Like this game is definitely better in gameplay than Edith Finch to me, and it's pretty much dead center, like a 5 or a 6 for me overall. There's a couple questions that I have broadly, but in terms of what you were kind of predicting from me, I actually don't. Wait, what exactly was your criticism? Is it like the level design of the orchard, or which did you mean in terms of your prediction for me?
I just thought and I was pulling this out of my ass because it was kind of one of my criticisms at first, but I actually grew to like it as kind of a like anti-ludic design choice of how like kind of labyrinthian and confusing the navigation can be. And like if you have to find a specific NPC and all you have is that little compass at the top and they're standing in like the one place where it's really annoying to find the crevice in the map that you have to walk through to get to them is kind of annoying.
Yeah. In terms of that, the only criticism I had was UI stuff that I'll talk about later, which is specifically the thing that I wrote down that you just said, which is like the waypoint on your like compass navigator thing. I have criticisms for that, but otherwise, I was fine with most of that. Like actually moving around in the areas was fun. Like I think I had some issues on KBM specifically where there was like some unresponsiveness with the movement that was really weird, or like it felt really clunky for some reason. Like I would press a button and it would take like a 2-second delay. It was very strange, but I didn't have like huge issues with that. It was whatever. But in terms of, I actually have some highlights for gameplay that I wanted to mention that I thought actually serviced the narrative really well. For example, I think it's, which chapter is it? Is it chapter 5? Chapter 6? I think it's chapter 5. When you are talking to the occupants and it's the first time you get the like resonance thing. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was absolutely a highlight in terms of gameplay for me. I consider that gameplay because it's kind of like Chance of Senar, like you're trying to understand what it's saying to you and then interpreting it. I thought if the game did that in like every single chapter, the gameplay could have easily been like a 9 or a 10 for me. Like if they just did that in every single chapter, it would have been fucking incredible to me. But it absolutely had low points. The biggest of which is, and this happened a lot. Anytime the game forced me to talk to everyone to progress the game, I hated that. I could not stand it.
It only does that once, doesn't it?
It does it multiple times. It does it when you're in Old Town for the first time. I think chapter 6, I think that is. And it does it right before that in chapter 5, right after the occupant event. And I think there's a couple more times than that, but it does it pretty frequently.
Well,
enough that I noticed it.
So here's like what I say to that, I guess, which is like when you brought that up, the only place I could think of where the game forces you to do that is chapter 6, when it wants you to go around and talk to all of the I forget what they call them, like the directors or whatever. And I feel like that serves a purpose in chapter 5 because like they're telling you all of the like different ways that they want you to interpret the occupant's poem, and you're supposed to like figure it out from there. So I feel like it made sense to do it there. It's like part of the puzzle.
But like I don't even think you have to talk to all of the people there. I think you can just go straight to the occupant and try to understand it.
You have to talk to all the people, or else you don't have all the statements.
Okay, then.
Talking to the people unlocks
right.
the statements.
Yeah, that happened to me. No, yeah, I don't know that. I still just feel that it would have been slightly better if you got if you could just rush straight to the occupant, talk to it, and you have all of the dialogue options, but you can only truly understand what you're saying or trying to communicate if you had talked to all of the people in the area. I don't want to criticize that part because I actually love that part, but in general, like being gated behind talking to every NPC, I feel like is not very good gameplay. I feel like it's very bad for the narrative flow of the game.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is I don't feel like I was ever actually gated. Like most of the achievements are talk to every NPC in chapter X, and I don't have all of those achievements.
I mean, there's times where you don't have to for sure, but that's 3 times just now that I can remember off the top of my head. I didn't write all of them down, but it happened multiple times.
I mean, I don't remember like the details of everything specifically, but I imagine if they made it unskippable, I guess they may have determined that the information you learned from those specific cutscenes were worth making like pseudo mandatory.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that fundamentally. I'm thinking of the part in I think it's chapter 5, when the occupant event happens and you have to run around talking to everyone in like the subway station or whatever. And some of them are literally just like dead on the ground and there's no dialogue, but you still have to interact with them.
Oh, okay, yeah, that one was dumb. I forgot about that one.
That was the one that stood out as the worst to me. But other ones, like there's the timed race to the finish at the end of the game. I thought it was like reasonably fun, like it was fine, but kind of uninspired. And then, kind of related to that one, the communions where you're just zip zop zooping around. Like it feels good, it's kind of fun, but the gameplay is weak. It's very mid.
I'm kind of fine with it being mid because, and this I speak only for myself, but I had a difficult time playing through this game like emotionally. So I'm glad that the gameplay was pretty bland, so that like I could like kind of like process that shit while I'm just playing it. And then at the end of the game with that race part, that like pressure part, like it was kind of an inversion of how I was feeling while playing because I felt like really motivated to fucking get to the end and like make things right. And I feel like I couldn't have done that if the gameplay was more if it asked more of me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not calling that part bad. I thought it was fun, just uninspired. And to be clear, I meant to say this before I dropped that word, but uninspired in this context of that 5-minute timer gameplay section is the only time I will use the word uninspired this entire time. This game is incredibly inspired outside of that one portion.
Yeah, it's actually funny about like the rings, specifically the zip zoop rings, the gravity rings. Because I remember when I was first playing through the game, and I was thinking that this was the thing that I was gonna criticize. I was like, there's no like connection to the game world or the world building. Why are there these Superman 64 rings? They're just there just to facilitate gameplay. And I thought I was gonna hate them. And then like later on when I found out that it's like the shape of like the occupant like anatomy. I was like, okay, so there's like a little tangible effect, and then like it was just I was fully in support of the ring gameplay during the last section during the 5 minute time limit section. I was just like, I felt like at that point I maybe I just came to the same conclusion as the developers where they decided that they needed some kind of gameplay and this mechanic they chose, I think, at least for me, was like the right something was like the right kind of mechanic to have. Because it yeah, I guess that's really up to I didn't really like pre-plan anything to say on this, so yeah, I'll just stop here.
I mean, I got to get my negativity kicks in while I can, and this is the only section where I think I'm going to be negative. So,
Oh yeah, and for sure, like this game, any game where you can like compare the amount of gameplay to Edith Finch, like I feel like it's fair to criticize it.
Yeah.
That's just you have to allow that.
yeah, and hold on, I need to double check if this was one of Sesh's questions. I don't think it was, but I want to make sure.
I mean, it's a narrative, so you could, yeah, they should all be narrative related.
Okay, yeah. I just want to ask this question because I've been mulling it over a lot in my head over the last couple days. I still feel like I haven't come to a strong conclusion. Do you guys feel like this should have been a game? Like, why we keep dropping the word visual novel? Why wasn't it just a visual novel? What are your guys' opinions on that?
I think it would have been better as a visual novel. I think the only thing that benefits it as a game is basically the zipping around, and I don't think that they made the decision of we need to put gameplay, so put zips in. I think they made the decision of we want to go through these fucked up environments, like these really split environments, but how can you do that by moving around? And that's how they came up with the zip system. I don't think they were considering like we need to give this more gameplay than a visual novel style game. But I mean, it's.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in terms of like actually having to navigate around the orchard and like talk to everybody, it would have been so much better if it was like Phoenix Wright, where you just literally click on like healer's room, fixer's room, shit like that, instead of having to walk around because it was just fucking like tedious and asinine to move around the orchard.
See, here's where I disagree with that, and that is where I find visual novels just kind of in general really struggle to keep my attention because they're not that engaging, and I feel like it forces me to read at a pace that is much slower than my normal pace, so I kind of end up getting bored. So this game having at least like a modicum of gameplay that is not like Edith Finch level, but is like at least a step or two above that, works. In addition to the fact that there is a myriad of environmental storytelling aspects to this game that would get totally lost or recontextualized if it were a visual novel, because the environmental storytelling in this game is like second to none.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be a visual novel, but I think they need to give you conveniences of moving around. Like to what Seth said earlier with like the control sucking, like a big issue is if you do a 180, you can't move your character for another second. Like if you just pivot in the other direction, you can't move again.
I'm
Was
actually
that was true
curious.
on
There's
controller too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
that was
actually
annoying.
curious
Okay.
about that because there was a setting that said like enable like player like acceleration or something like that, and I was wondering if that has to do with that.
I didn't touch that setting. The only setting I thought was sick, which I was gonna bring up in UI, is the fucking turn off ringing noises that I've like never seen before.
I didn't turn it off, but after playing through the game, I realized why the button is there.
Oh, I turned it off immediately. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah, I don't know. That shit doesn't bother me. And I was like, I saw that option on. I like made a point to try and like think about where that would get used, and I couldn't think of a single time. But also, like I
Really?
said, I'm not sensitive to that kind of shit. So that's
Okay.
just me.
Because I thought I heard it, like throughout the whole game, like just all the time.
Probably every time there
Yeah,
was an explosion was probably a big time.
but like going back to the whole visual novel thing, like I'm very torn on it, and that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it because, like, I agree with Thomas. Like, whole fucking hog. This is one of those games that comes up much like Control for me, where the cinematography is just so strong that, like, that alone can carry it as a game. I think, which is I think another word for what Thomas was describing is environmental storytelling. Um, but like at the same time, the structure of this game feels perfect for like a really solid anime. I remember reading some comments on Reddit or something where people were talking about how they felt like they were watching Evangelion for the first time again. And I don't know, like I'm so torn on it because, like I said, some of the gameplay sections definitely worked. I wish they had committed to things like the resonance bit more. But at the end of the day, I came away feeling like I just wish I'd read a visual novel or watched an anime or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree. I think that there's just enough gameplay there to that it works, and I think that some of the like confusing navigation aspects sort of work with the game's themes like holistically. Like it's very intentional that the orchard and even what the hell is this Old Town plus
Yeah.
New Orchard or Old Orchard, I guess. Like they're very intentionally meant to be set up as confusing and disorienting. Like that is very much the point. So for me, I think all of that kind of comes together to justify its existence as a video game. Because like a game that I think of when I think back as like a game that I rated negatively because I had thoughts of why the fuck was this a video game at all is To the Moon. And To the Moon has more gameplay than Edith Finch probably, but it's all just like these shitty puzzles inside of a RPG Maker game. So to me, that game is like the embodiment of why was this a game? There's not enough gameplay here to keep me engaged or interested. Whereas I think that this has, I'm not going to say it like vaults over that requirement, but it definitely has just enough that it satisfies it.
I mean, I like the freeform adventure game style more than the visual novel style. I just think they didn't have the quality of life in the navigation to make it like enjoyable to do. I think that's where they failed. Not that they should be a visual novel.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is like I feel like if you include some of those quality of life aspects like click to go here, then it undermines like the whole reason why it's confusing. And I like that's why I was saying I like backed off of that as a criticism for me because I felt like it worked with the themes of the game. Like it's labyrinthian, it's alienating, it's confusing, it's anti-ludic. I think it all serves like the greater narrative of what the game's trying to convey.
I think realistically it's negative because what it was built as was supposed to be like a fucking like bastion of existence, and people who like the smartest minds in the world aren't going to build a fucking labyrinth where you're going to exist in when fucking society can't exist anymore. So I don't know.
Okay, but you also have to remember the fact that Iris restricted them to this very small part of the generational ship, right? Like the orchard is a tiny fraction of the whole that she locked them inside of, basically.
Sure, I think it's doo doo.
Yeah, I get like at least from my perspective, I have no issues with the labyrinthian quality to the quote unquote overworld, but like something I feel like they absolutely should have done and they did it for like a single point was just add those zip zop zoop points into the orchard. Like there I
That would have
forget
been
when
sick.
exactly it happens. They do it like I forget when exactly it happens, maybe during the
It's like
Octagon
chapter
event, but
6. Yeah, it's around there.
yeah, like they're in there for a little bit, but why not just have them in there for the rest of the game? It would have been
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Add them in.
it's into chapter 5. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Like
Anyway, that's go ahead.
yeah, it's like to Sesh's point, like I don't think the game should have like a literal like menu select for the navigation because there are certain like hallways that are positioned that depending on where you are in the story, like the way that you like enter like a door and it like frames the way that you see the NPC that you're supposed to talk to, like I think that stuff matters. So I think that like having a menu where you can bypass that kind of stuff, I feel like it would take away in a way that like you wouldn't know because it's not there, but like I think that there is value that is added from having an actual environment to explore. But I do agree that's something needed to be done, even if it went against their whole like diegetic immersive stuff, like the mini map. Like if there was just a mini map that was just on the screen the whole time, I feel like that would
Yeah,
just solve every problem.
Yeah,
agreed.
I mean, obviously people must have like complained about this, right? Or else they wouldn't have patched in a map. So
At least from my side, that's all I really had for gameplay, and that's the worst of the negative that I have for this game. So
I hated the save system. I thought the save system was dog shit. Like you have to get to some arbitrary checkpoint that they set up, and they never tell you where the checkpoint is, or like if when you're saving, when it's going to do that, or any of that. But like either don't let the player save, or tell them when they're saving that this isn't actually their save point.
I think that was just a bug because there's like a Steam thread about it when Ben and I got that in chapter 2, and they mentioned something like, "Oh, we're going to look into this,"
And then they
No,
never did.
I don't think it's a bug. I think it's intentional. And there's one chapter where it's pretty egregious, like way later on. It might literally be the last chapter where I was checking pretty often because I save scummed this game for whatever reason. You don't need to. For anyone listening, you really don't need to, but I did, and I did it half the time, literally just to check to see if there was when the thumbnail would start appearing. And I think in that last chapter, it takes a really long time. So you have to do like that whole you have to play that whole section in like one session, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like the last chapter. I'm surprised they even have a checkpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of exaggerating it, but like it took a while for the thumbnail to appear, I guess is all I'm saying.
Also, just want to comment because I saw some of what you guys said earlier. Like, Ben, were you saying that you could basically just lose a shit ton of save progress if you fucked up somehow? Is that what you said?
That was my first impression because that was when I thought it was a bug where like I literally just couldn't save anymore. And if I wanted to
Oh,
proceed, I'd have to like literally get to the next chapter and trigger the autosave. That was what I was thinking, but what I discovered is that basically what how they designed it, I think, is that at the beginning of every chapter, there's just a whole section where there are no checkpoints, no save points, and they just expect you to play it kind of as like a forced introduction to that chapter,
okay,
and then you're able to start saving after that.
I
okay.
checked.
So
I checked a couple Steam threads, and it's a bug, by the way.
I
the
I
It's
I
still
don't care if
don't
it's a
think
bug or not. It's still in the
literally,
game and it's unfixed.
literally from developers saying it's a bug. Now, they keep saying they're looking into the issue. They never fixed it, but
Yeah,
it's not intentional.
Well, I mean, I'll just make the strong statement. Luckily, that bug did not affect my experience. Like, I just didn't see it. If it had affected my experience, if I did lose half a chapter of progress, I probably would have subtracted a full letter point or a full point value from my score for this game.
yeah, and I
But
don't think
luckily,
you
that
ever
didn't
really
happen.
lose that much progress. I think you're probably looking at like maybe like 5 to 15 minutes at
yeah.
worst. But it's still fucking annoying when it happens because you can't skip anything in this fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it never affected me because I played the game in one fucking sitting. So
If you guys want to move down to UI, we're kind of skirting around it, art, audio, etc.
Yeah, I'm good with gameplay.
Yeah, sure.
same.
Do you guys have any strong feelings on what you want to talk about here? Because I definitely do, and I don't want to dominate like I feel like I did for the last one.
I have no opinions on anything other than the music owns.
Yeah, that's something that, and this has to do with like the way that I've been playing games recently, especially for Tash, where like normally if I play a game at my PC, I have obviously like easy access to a keyboard. I can easily take screenshots or record. But like a lot of this game I played on the ROG Ally sitting in a massage chair, and like I do remember there were like so many moments where I was like the fact like that this song is playing during this like crazy intense moment, and I'm just letting it sit there playing this music and like this is amazing. But like I can't remember any specific one because I didn't like record it, and I was also like super high the entire time. So there were definitely like there were many amazing standout moments, and I can't describe like a single one.
The one I absolutely want to highlight for the song, it's the one that plays. God, I keep mixing up my chapters, but it's when you're talking to the keeper, like Secretary Keeper, at the very end of the game. The song that plays during that is fucking incredible.
I don't share the same opinion. I can't remember a single song from the game, and I didn't, while playing it the whole. I intentionally played this game like with headphones and shit, and like nothing ever jumped out to me.
The thing about the soundtrack of this game, it is not a soundtrack of bangers. It is like an Outer
Oh
Wilds
yeah.
soundtrack for me, where like I'm not gonna like pull up YouTube and add all of these to my fucking favorites playlist or whatever. But every single song fits every single scene fucking perfectly. It's haunting and beautiful when it needs to be. It's chunky and stressful when it needs to be. Like the song that plays right after the occupant event and you're underground is so goddamn good for what's going on in the game at that point. It's got this like chunky synth that's going on in the background to just keep making you stressed out. Very good soundtrack.
Oh, and there is one song that like I do remember liking a lot, and it's really amplified by the section it's in. But again, the 5 minute time limit like race section, that song, it like I was locked in like when I was doing that shit.
I mean, I
Yeah, I think yeah, no, this is true. This is the first Tash game we've played where I actually did go back and listen to the soundtrack for pleasure afterwards because I think that this game's soundtrack is fucking amazing. It's like a ambient tangerine dream kind of thing in some ways.
Yeah, this is like the kind of soundtrack that I would put on for like studying or getting high, shit like that.
I don't feel strongly enough about my opinion to like to argue it like I did with like the clear obscure style shit. Like I just literally like nothing's jumped out to me and nothing made me go like, "Ooh, this is sick" or anything. Like it had no impact on me.
So I mentioned earlier I had some issues with the UI, like with the compass thing and the markers that it puts on NPCs. Why the hell does it make them disappear when you're a certain distance away? That really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, that compass thing sucked. I like never used it.
Yeah. I think this game suffers from like trying to hide a couple things as like air quotes puzzles, but it's just air quotes annoying, and that's one of them.
Yeah, they like
Mm.
I just needed like straight up yellow paint. I'm not even gonna lie, like it would have made it better.
Well, because
But
there was no reason. Like for some of those zipline things, they like kind of hide them, and it's like, what's the point? Like, there's no fucking point for these to be like hidden.
There was one example of that in one of the community sections towards the end, where it's like very loose as to where you go next. Like normally those communities
Yeah.
where you're zipping around is pretty obvious, but there's one where she's like dressed in black and she's on top of a black plane or some shit.
Oh
Like
yeah.
how the I'm again I'm very lucky that I spotted her sooner because it would have been bad otherwise.
that is one of the ones where I did get lost, and then I did the trick where I killed myself, let the game like load the autosave, and it just puts you kind of where you need to go next.
Yeah.
Yeah, those sections like I liked. So my thing with those is I feel like you either commit to it or you don't, and there's just like a couple times where they committed to it and it just felt unnecessary, kind of annoying.
All the other notes I have for UI stuff is I just thought that it's like pretty simple, but I thought it worked. Like making the text of each sister the color of their like suit and whatever, like that worked pretty well for me. I liked it. I wanted to ask you guys how you felt about lack of animations for like 99% of the game. I felt like again, I'm a little bit torn on it, and that's why I'm asking you guys. Because on one sense, I felt like it added this like cold, lifeless, and robotic quality to the characters. And I wanted to ask you guys if you felt like that was intentional or unintentional. And if it was intentional, or if you feel like it was intentional, why would they add in animations for the bigger cutscenes, like the start of the game, for example?
So this is kind of why I had no opinion on this section, is because I think the actual graphics and models and stuff of this game are incredibly mid. They are like
Yeah.
they barely surface for air above serviceable, and that is about it. And some of the animations were actually like, ugh.
Oh yeah,
Like,
all of them.
yeah, really. So yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on that. And to be honest, so I liked Citizen Sleeper, but I would not expect the developer of Citizen Sleeper to make a bunch of good models and animations, given what that game is. So
Just to clarify, it's publisher, not developer. This developer is their first time developer. That's the same publisher as Citizen Sleeper.
I gotcha. Fuck, this is a banger debut game then.
Yeah, they all
Oh,
have
yeah.
like liberal arts backgrounds. Like that's why it's so cinematographic. Cinema whatever. Because-
Cinematographic. I don't know what
Yeah,
that word is.
I
Like, I
fucked
didn't-
myself up.
I
The
didn't
language
do
as well.
I didn't do like a lot of research into it, but I remember in the credits it looked like they partnered with like a university or something like that.
Would make
Or
sense.
did I make that up? I knew
I,
there was something to do with like Project Asian Women Representation or something like that, like AWR, which I'd never heard of until I saw it in the credits of this game. So I knew that there was some kind of like educational like establishment kind of like connection with the development of this game.
They did also
it
mention
wasn't a lot of people. That's all I know.
They did also mention in that interview that I think three of us have listened to. One of the reasons that they didn't make this like a movie or a show or whatever, or like a lot of them were into like dance and choreography, like they actually performed in theater and shit. Um, One of the reasons that they didn't perform it as like a play or something is because they would have to find like 25 kids and then like make all those kids look similar to each other, and then like the scene they were referencing was one of the early shots where it's like all the kids floating around when the virus hit. Like, okay, we would have to get like pulleys and harnesses and set them up on this and get insurance. So I thought it was funny. That was one of the reasons that they didn't go with that medium.
So I said I had no real nothing to add here, but I have since thought of two things to add. So I guess I'll start with something we've kind of already touched on, which is like the actual cinematography and the framing of this game is some of the best I have ever seen in any game.
Very
like,
good.
That's very
literally
cool.
ever. Actually reminds me. Um, this may sound a little weird, but it actually reminds me a lot of like oh man, what's his name? Roger Deakins, the guy who did a lot of cinematography for like Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. Actually reminds me a lot of his style, like the way that he has these like horizontal like cross-cut shots. Like yeah, very, very Roger Deakins.
I think it's probably
The
for me the best part about the game. I think they did some really cool shit, and it's like it's things like that all you need is ideas. You don't need a budget, right? Because this game clearly didn't have a budget.
Yeah, for sure. And so when I say Roger Deakins, like or later on, we're gonna have like our favorite like still frame shot award or whatever. And the one that I have, the first thing I thought when I saw it is, and Seth and Ben, you might know what I'm talking about here, is that straight on horizontal shot in Sicario of the family sitting in like the pergola outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the shot in this game that I picked for that just reminded me of that a lot.
I suppose you don't see more shit like that in games because of the absolute freedom you have over the camera. Seems like it'd be like really easy.
I absolutely think it's a shame that more games don't abuse the fuck out of that particular quality of their medium.
Yeah, agreed.
Because, like to the point you guys are making, the only other game I can think of that was as good as this game specifically on cinematography was Control, which was like lauded, but I don't think it was lauded for that reason. And the fact that this like random fucking debut indie game did it as well as, I don't know if Control is considered a AAA game, but like a game that's that well known, it's like fucking insane that it's not more well used.
So I can name two developers off the top of my head that I think do actually leverage a lot of good cinematography in their games. Number one is Naughty Dog, like Last of Us 2, and the Uncharted games are both shot very well, like shot in a way that they knew that they were going to end up as movies or TV shows one day. And someone I don't like playing their games, but definitely has an eye for this
Kojima?
shit. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
That's fair. I think also just to be the guy that always brings up Dark Souls, I think FromSoft is also really good. Maybe not at like cinematography in the way we're thinking of it, but they're very good at creating set piece moments with how the camera is framed. Like when you first step foot out into the lands between and you see the Erd tree, for example, they're very good at creating those moments.
Yeah, they're very good at creating those like wow, like holy shit, like big scale moments. Like that's like their calling card.
I think Nier Automata also has like cool camera shit, but I think it's more like gameplay integrated camera than like cinematics.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a couple really good ones in Automata.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Not they were OG Nier.
Sorry, my microphone's cutting out. I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. But the two I'm thinking of is any of the shots that are like the Last Supper for Adam and Eve. Those ones are always really good.
Yeah.
And when to be stibbity stib stabs.
Yep. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No, yeah, I 100% agree with that. I was actually thinking about that because a few weeks ago, when I was flying home from my work trip, I was on the plane and I kind of got bored of playing Torment Tides of Numenera. And the only other game on the Steam Deck that I had installed at the time that was like, this looks kind of fun was Automata. So I just played through like the first 2 hours of
Nice.
Automata. And the way that that game like plays with the camera as it jumps from like the shmup parts to like third person action to side scrolling platformer, like and then top down sections, it's fucking awesome. I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent, but that is definitely a game that leverages it well.
Yeah. And I think like bringing it back to this game kind of does that because this game does like the first person perspective, the side view perspective, like it does a bunch of different perspectives, and I think it does that because like Nier kind of did that.
Yeah.
But I think Nier did it obviously like way more interesting because this game doesn't have like that kind of gameplay depth to it and to be able to do anything interesting with it. But I think it was still cool that this game did a lot with the camera.
Yeah, Nier used it in its gameplay, and this game used it more in like a cinematic way,
Exactly.
which is fine.
Yeah, they service the narrative more with it. The other thing I absolutely want to give this game praise for, in addition to the cinematography, maybe this is just cinematography, but the lighting in this game. Oh my fucking god, the lighting is amazing.
Yes.
Holy fucking
Yes, but
Second to none.
I really liked it. There are like certain like desaturated sections, like in like the communion style levels where you're like inside the apartments. Like the really soft shading of that lighting looks really nice. And then, like if you go to the orchard, like at the beginning, that shit looks like Phantasy Star Online running on the Dreamcast hardware. Like it's
Oh yeah.
like like I don't understand like how these are in the same
Yeah.
game.
Like, let me be clear with one of my criticisms here. Like, all of the good stuff in this game feels like it is there to just outshadow all of the bad stuff, to just wash it out completely. Lighting and cinematography are an example of that because kind of what you're saying, God, I remember running around in the orchard and there's some assets in the orchard that they just look like they're from fucking Quake. Like they're just like shaved in this like smooth diamondy way that like that makes it sound better than it is, but it just didn't look good. I don't know how else to describe it.
They look like unironic vaporwave assets.
Yeah, I mean, I like that stuff, but it's because the game that Ben compared it to is like one of my favorite games of all time, so I didn't mind that it looked like a Dreamcast game. But I mean, what you guys said with the lighting and everything, that's kind of they use basically the technology of the engine to be able to outproduce the budget that they had, basically. So that's why I think that you basically don't have any graphic settings because if you change any of the if you like turned Bloom off in this game, it would look like dog shit because everything that looks good about this game is like lighting and like vibrant color related.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Speaking of Ben mentioning something desaturated, I just wanted to bring up really quick. At some point in the channel, we were talking about how this game was like nearish, and I was like, I wonder if you guys are gonna like get to the same point I did, where I was like, oh, this game is like hella cribbing off of Nier, and it was the point at which I think it was maybe the beginning of either chapter 2 or 3, I forget, but Watcher like wakes up in her bed and you have that shot through the window of her laying down in her bed and it's all like desaturated like whites and grays, and I was like, oh, this is literally 2B waking up in the moon base. Like it is the same shot.
I remember many shots that gave me that kind of vibe in like narrative moments at times too. However, I just want to say right off the bat, talking about this, I felt like this game, in almost every regard, differentiated itself enough from Automata that I don't even like. I don't know if we're gonna levy that as a criticism to that game, but I certainly don't want to.
Oh hell no! I think that this game, the only thing it shares in common with Nier Automata is like superficial at best, like in terms of like the visuals or uh, like just very like first order plot points.
Yeah, I guess like just based on the vibes I was seeing in the channel and like all the comparisons people seem to be making to Automata, like on the reviews that I saw for this game, I just like yeah, they're there if you like if you just look at things one to one, I guess, but like this game just has so much more to say and is so much more than just like a simple comparison between the two games. It's not just a carbon copy ripoff.
I would disagree that it has so much more to say because I
Same.
think they just say different things. Like
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, just like the comparison to Nier for me pretty much begins and ends at a bunch of robot babes trapped in a cycle of violence. Like that's where the Nier comparison pretty much starts and ends for me.
Yeah, I think it's only in
Yeah,
like
and
the
like
certain shots and stuff like that that you guys mentioned. I think there's like clear inspiration, but I think it's
Yeah.
fucking different.
Yeah, definitely inspired by, but not
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it's
trying
not
to
Stellar Blade.
imitate.
Yeah,
and even then, like I just feel like some of those sources of inspiration, like legitimately, I don't know if this game was direct, like in those moments that feel like it's quote unquote copying Automata. I don't know if they were actually copying Automata. I just think that they shared a similar source of core inspiration. So like there's a lot of those like kind of 2D shots and stages in this game like Automata has. I legitimately think they just did a lot of that because they fucking love theater and they just created a stage.
Yeah, honestly, the only one where I really had like that's straight out of Nier is the one that I mentioned. I wonder if I took a screenshot of it, but outside of that, like that is pretty much that was the beginning and the end of me thinking like, oh, this game is like very much
Yeah.
trying to imitate aspects of Nier. There's just that one shot that was exactly just how I described it.
yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
like the stage or anything that you mentioned is like related to Nier at all. I think, like you said, that's just completely different, like from different source material.
In terms of imitation, there are 2 points or two sections that are, I swear, they're like almost like straight lifts from Deus Ex Human Revolution. Um, the previously mentioned like apartments that are desaturated, and the like the Hong Kong style like cyberpunky like street corner where bartender was in chapter 6. Like if you guys play Human Revolution, you get to those parts, you'll be like, it's literally like the same assets and everything, like same colors, same placement, and everything.
Yeah, now that you say that, I do agree because like you've got like something like almost akin to the basketball courts back alley
Yeah.
section. Like yeah, no. Now that you say that and I'm picturing it in my head, I agree.
I still don't know if they've even been exposed to that game though, or if that's just like they both came from the same source material, right? Like
I
if
Yeah.
guarantee it came straight from the fucking game. Not like stolen, but like it was clearly like I feel like it was clearly like an obvious like nod to Deus Ex.
maybe I have no idea.
Because like with stuff like that, I just never know if they're getting their inspiration from that or if both games just imitated Hong Kong street corners really well. You know.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's so close. Like I know that you guys have to just take my word for it, but still.
No, I do agree with you and in some respects, like I can definitely see that. But also um I could also just see it just being sort of like a generic, like cyberpunk back alley design that will just look the same kind of no matter what it is. But I do see what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like what Seth said. I mean, because I think these developers are from Hong Kong, and if not, they definitely have like deep ties to Hong Kong. So maybe Deus Ex literally just took their environments as a Hong Kong inspiration, and then they both just came from the same like, it's Hong Kong.
I believe I don't want to make anything up, but I'm pretty sure that like the two people in that interview that we watched, I believe that they are Chinese Canadian. So there were at least some members of the staff that had Chinese heritage.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind they have
Oh,
Chinese. I just don't know, like,
yeah.
yeah, because the game like tackled like the whole Hong Kong revolutions and shit
Yeah, the Hong Kong
in the
protest.
game. Yeah, so that's why like clearly, and their fucking name like Sunset Visitor on Steam also has like the Chinese characters for Sunset Visitor after them. So
Yeah, if you told me that these were literally like a bunch of Mandarin guys who made a game, or I guess Cantonese if it's Hong Kong, like I would have believed you.
yeah, they do speak Cantonese, right, in the game.
Yeah,
Don't they
that's
speak
what their parents
both?
speak, I believe. I think because
They do speak both
I think
because
Zhao speaks Mandarin.
Zhao
Yeah,
speaks
exactly.
Mandarin. Zhao speaks Mandarin, and Iris and her family speak Cantonese, which I think
Exactly.
is like a point of contention.
Exactly. Yep.
I hope that's true. Hopefully my racism isn't showing, but I'm pretty sure that's true.
Well, I'm gonna let my racism
Thomas.
show. If
Yeah,
you
hold on, let
asked
Ben
me
do
what
it.
the difference was between the two, I could not fucking tell you.
the
Just
one, the
straight up.
one, the one fucking Asian guy in this chat.
Exactly.
What'd you guys think of the voice acting?
That was going to be the next thing I brought up. I thought it was very, very, it was very, very good if uneven at times, but like 97% really good, 3% a little bit kind of eh.
See, that's funny.
It easily cleared Chaos Force for me. There was the voice actor for the dad sounded exactly like a coworker that I was working with for like the past 2 years. Like they sound exactly the
That's
fucking
funny.
same. So it cracked me up every time he spoke, which was kind of fucked up at some parts of the game.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah, I thought the voice acting, like, kind of like Thomas said, like 99% of the time, it was stellar, like Claire Obscure levels at times, I felt. But I had issues with it that as I was playing, I really couldn't put my finger on it. I think there's an issue with the sound mixing. I'm not confident in that, but I think there's an issue in the sound mixing. Because there's some lines where I felt like I was hearing microphone pops. I felt like the sound was incredibly uneven, and that was affecting my perception of their performance. It was very strange.
For me, I think there was just like a few like one-off characters or one-off voice lines, like from characters who only have maybe one or two voice lines, where it was like they just grabbed someone from the break room and were like, "Hey, record this real quick."
Yeah.
And then like the kid who does the fucking rap in the high school,
That was so sick.
that just sounds fucking atrocious to
That
me.
was like my favorite part.
Like, why does he sound like he's about to cry?
It was so, yeah, I think that's the point because he's infected with the virus at that point, right? So he's already starting to like lose his fucking mind.
Oh shit, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's not an award, but I absolutely want to give best voice actor award to, I believe it's Johnson the 50. Oh my fucking god, that guy's good.
100% agreed. That guy was really fucking good.
See, the crazy part is I thought the voice acting was dog shit across the board. Like, so
That's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy.
I think that's kind of wild.
I thought all the sisters were terrible. The performances I thought were crazy bad.
That's insane.
I thought that.
So I'm surprised to hear you guys like it that much because I thought it was
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean,
I don't agree with that, but it's to each their own, I guess. I liked it for the most part.
Like I think about this a lot because I want to like dabble in voice acting and shit once I have a halfway decent microphone. I felt like for the most part their performances were really good. The worst criticism I could give is that sometimes they're kind of one note, like some characters just sound the same in every situation.
I mean, I can tell you that's because all the sisters are the same person.
Yeah, and that's part of the point. They're all clones. They're all these like childlike clones, and so like Fixer, for example, like I could see just in a vacuum seeing that character is like a pretty bad performance, but like these people are basically like toddlers, like adult toddlers, and so for that reason, their performances really worked well for me.
Yeah, like I think if I had to point to a single performance that I think was like just extremely fucking good. Actually, I'll pick two. One is BBF, Bang Bang Fire, extremely well performed, or Knower. Either one of those. You can pick either one, and they are both extremely fucking good.
I think I have a minority opinion. My favorite by very far was the mother.
Oh yeah,
I thought
she was good.
I thought she was terrible. I thought Iris was like the worst one,
Really?
like real kid Iris.
No, when I say mother, I'm talking about her mother.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Kid Iris because Kid Iris shouldn't be like what you guys are describing. She's more like sociopathic and like doesn't have like the lack of. I guess the fucking clones shouldn't either because they're fucking 2,000 years old or whatever the fuck.
I feel like she definitely conveys that like sort of like nihilistic,
for sure.
well, don't give a fuck like high school teenager.
Yeah.
For me, I just felt like it because I did very little minor research about this game, and in developing this game, they wanted to explore like what it feels like to be a part of like the second generation immigrant like diaspora. I think that's the word they
Yes.
use.
Yeah, exactly.
And as someone, I guess that is literally that. Like, I thought the voice acting was like spot on for like literally everybody. That's just me.
Agreed that Johnson was good. I could tell you there's one that's like really good, but it's like they all have pockets of being good. Like I think BBF was good and then became bad once she like started the basically after like chapter 6 or whatever. Then I think like BBF's performance is like a different character basically.
She is. She lost her fucking shit.
Yeah, I mean, and also I didn't like the character after that turn. I think Healer was really good during her communion, and like just felt like it was like a different performance for the rest of the game. Like Healer was also awesome in her communion, and then it just felt like the character like disappeared after that.
I remembered who I was going to say. I will agree with Sessh, and maybe this is a hot take, but I really thought Zhao's performance was terrible.
I thought that was really bad.
I thought Zhao was perfect.
I feel like
Well,
that was
listen,
so
yeah.
whack in
Yeah,
terms of like
dude.
exploring, in terms of like embodying like the diaspora. Like that Zhao character
Yeah.
is like laser focused to
No,
Yeah,
perfection.
dude. They
no, she-
not
she-
fucking kidding me, man.
They
Let's make
literally
that
call
case.
her Fabi. Like she is Fabi to the max. Like she is supposed to be exactly what she is.
in terms of that, in terms of representing the second generation diaspora, that's fine. Like, yeah, she does that, but there's a point in that interview where they give the actress a prompt, like, okay, we want you to be like sappy or happy or sad here, or whatever. I can't remember the prompt. But if you told me that she was just not given a single prompt for any different line of dialogue, I would 100% believe you. Because when I said earlier that some of the characters are very one note, Zhao is the absolute worst fucking offender of that. Every single context, she does not sound different from Picture Zhao to Candy Zhao to Toffee Zhao. All of them sound the same.
I think that's intentional though.
Yeah,
I think it's all intentional.
Here's why I disagree with that. It's because she's like a brand new immigrant to the country who can barely speak English and is like repeatedly called Fabi, and she is like mostly. I think every single line of dialogue you hear from her is directed at Iris, who she is like unhealthily infatuated with. So like her being one note or kind of like sort of over the top, like just makes total sense.
I would agree with you more if that was not true for the three Zhaos post Chapter 5.
But they're not the Zhao. They're just a Zhao. That would be like trying to compare Watcher or Healer to Iris.
Well, yeah, exactly. So they should sound different. Like Watcher and Blue sound different. Why do all the Zhaos sound the same?
They absolutely sound different. And also, they're also trying to fucking run an underground rebellion. So they don't want to like stand out too much.
Yeah, the standing out thing is, I think, the key thing here is because like I think by them sounding very similar, it like cements them as like a supporting role.
Yeah, I mean, my question really was the performances intentionally weird and bad? Because I thought we were all going to say they're bad.
Yes,
but I thought it was going to be, are they intentionally fucking like weird? Because they're all weird except like Johnston. Is it Johnston or Johnson? I don't remember, but that guy was
Johnson.
good. Yeah, he was good.
I don't know. I guess I didn't think it was weird.
I
That's
also
just me.
I also liked secretary, the Watcher secretary,
Yeah.
not Blue's secretary.
Yeah, I agree. I really wish they
I agree with that.
kept the same
actually.
voice.
I did not like the new secretary.
I thought Watcher secretary was sick though. He was great.
You reminded me of what's his face, Emil.
Yeah, exactly. That's now that you bring that up, I think that's like a huge inspiration. Like that felt big time Emil energy.
Yeah, I thought the younger secretary performance absolutely highlighted the like kind of dreamlike, airy qualities that a lot of the other performances give at times. Which is also true for all of the 50. I could listen to Johnson's voice for days. Holy moly, he's good.
Yeah, he was great.
Well, man, this is crazy. I thought everyone across the board was going to be glazing the fucking voice acting because I thought it was like after the narratives, like the best part of the game, in my opinion.
I thought it was all over the fucking place. Like I thought during each character's communions, they were like elevated, and then after that, they just like the performance just dialed back. And I thought like even like Watcher's performance, I thought was like meh. Blue's performance, I thought was extra meh.
I want to ask Sesh's opinion on one thing. Did you hear Fixer's song?
Yes, I thought that part was cool.
But did you feel like the performance was good?
Yeah, I thought that was fine. I think it's just like the delivery of individual lines that I think is very weird because they're like all over the place.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think
I
that
feel
they're
like
necessarily like a bad voice actor. I think it's just kind of like inconsistent delivery and like it's just like weird tones and like yeah, like you said, like the mixing kind of felt off at sometimes and yeah, like she just like the voice actor ran out of breath and her volume just got really quiet and then they didn't do anything about it. It was weird.
This is why this motherfucker has the lowest sentiment score.
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm at like a happy middle ground because I thought the highs of this game were fucking literally like, I don't want to say AAA quality, but like some of the 10 out of 10 games we've given quality, and other ones like Jow just really stood out to me as not great performances. Maybe the directing was fine. Like you guys are kind of getting at more of the directing and the style that they were going for, and that's fine. I just didn't get a strong sense of performance from that.
I don't know. To me, she was supposed to be an awkward, infatuated, like brand new immigrant with a lesbian vibe, and the character was exactly that.
Jow didn't bother me that much for the record. Like I just thought it was like whatever, like kind of what you guys said, and like that's kind of what the character's supposed to be. So that one I kind of was like more forgiving of.
I do agree that Blue is kind of underwhelming, though.
Ooh, I thought was I don't even know why that character's in the game. I thought Watcher. We'll get there. I'll talk about that later. But yeah,
No, there's a reason, and I
there's a
feel like
reason.
they explicitly spell it out too, and I do accept it, even
I
though
just
it
like
is
Watcher more.
contrived.
Yeah, I mean,
we can get there.
I just mean her performances, like
Yeah.
like maybe a half step down from the rest of the sisters, but that's also mostly because I think the rest of the sisters are fucking incredible.
I also thought Principal wasn't that good. Principal was better written than she was performed.
I
agree with that, but that's
yeah.
not bringing her down by that much.
Sure. Again, I think all the characters like have high points. Like during their communions, I think they're fucking fantastic. And yeah, I think Noah is pretty good too. But I don't think it's complex. I don't think it's a complex performance. But Noah is definitely the most consistent performance for sure.
I think Noah's the most complex character in this game.
Well, sure. I'm saying it's not a complex.
He means the performance of the voice acting.
Yeah, I
well,
agree.
I think those things kind of go hand in hand in some ways, though.
Not in this game as much. I think she's complexly written, but like the performance is very consistent, and I think that's kind of what the character is. It's a consistent character.
Yeah, like if she wanted to convey more of the complexity of her character in her performance, I would expect more like kind of withdrawn, like trying to hold back tears during like the interrogations, for example.
I think diving into this point takes us too far into narrative, but
Sure.
I don't think you're ever supposed to feel like Noah is a person who would ever like break down into tears. You're supposed to see Noah as a person who is willing to like do whatever it takes to survive.
Yeah, which I think that's contributing to the simple performance, right? If a character like that breaks down into tears, that's suddenly like a more complex performance.
Yeah, but it's made complex by the fact that she's willing to do whatever it takes to survive, but is also trying to go against like the authoritarian leader to keep this other person alive, like to her possible detriment. Like she's walking this crazy tightrope.
I think what is it in her performance that is saying that is what we're asking.
Yeah, because I agree with you in the writing. The writing of that character is phenomenal.
Because she never like belies exactly what it is that she thinks. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like, it took me forever to like deduce what I thought about Noah because I think fuck it, let's just segue into narrative. Fuck you guys. That a big theme of this game is like the line that someone can cross that makes them irredeemable and like what that point is. And I think that this game, like through performance and through writing, tries to convey how complex that line can get blurred. And Nowhere is like part and parcel the like embodiment of that theme. And I think that through her performance being very intentionally understated. Like, you don't have to fucking scream and shout and have like Oscar moments to have a good performance. Her performance is good via being understated and not giving her character away and like what her motivations are and what she's trying to accomplish.
I feel like she
How-
kind of lets you know what her motivations are very early on, where it's like nothing is worth dying for, basically.
So why would she like not just immediately hand over Watcher to be executed? That's the easy way to survive in her predicament.
I mean, I guess I don't even know what the character's reason for keeping Watcher alive is.
I guess all I'm trying to say with regards to the performance is like clearly a line should be performed differently, whether it's or if it's between Nowhere like quote unquote relaxing and like you're talking to her at the library or whatever, like nothing stressful is happening, versus she's like literally torturing one of her sisters. There's a difference between giving something away in terms of like her character motivations or whatever, and having a performance that just hints at it a little bit. Like the performance I'm thinking of to kind of agree with you, Thomas, is Ryan Gosling in Blade Runner. Like he's very good at being a very understated, but communicating a lot with what he's acting and how he says his lines. I feel like to really like cement my opinion on this, I would literally have to like listen to some of her isolated lines to say, but as I was playing, I just it's not a bad performance. I'm not trying to say that. It just was not one of the more stellar ones compared to like Johnson, for example.
I don't know. I thought she was like, along with BBF and Johnson, those would be my top three in this game for sure. And again, I think it's just she conveys that like um, wanting to survive at any cost, but also like this desperation to protect this person that she loves that is caught in the middle of her like prime directive in a like perfect way.
I think an issue now that I'm realizing I have is that like none of the characters like ever convey sadness or like wanting to cry or anything like that.
I think there's a reason for that.
I don't know if I agree.
Which character cries in the game?
It's not that they cry, but I think they still convey crying, like Fixer's song, for example.
Well, this also just dives straight into narrative, and I know I said fuck you guys, but I don't know if you actually want to move on from all the UI sound stuff.
I don't really have anything
I'm fine
else to
going
talk
into
about in
narrative.
UI.
I just didn't want to lose my point.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to bring up for UI stuff.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so in my opinion, I think that the reason why you never see the clones, or at least the sisters, in like a heightened emotional state is they are clones of a sociopath. Like, I think that's just part and parcel kind of the thing, because each sister kind of represents a function of, um, I guess, a literal function of like some portion of Iris's like inherited like generational trauma. And given the fact that she is very clearly a fucking maniac, I would not expect any of them to like break down and cry or like lose their shit. Like the one exception to that is BBF, who is like the meant to be the like foil to that, where she's kind of like the childlike, goofy side of Iris.
I think to me personally, I think it would be more interesting if some of the characters would have picked up kind of like emotional ways to like over the 2000 years, or I don't know how exactly. It's at least like 1000 years that they've been like isolated together. So yeah, like I understand that part of it, but that's why I also think that the a lot of the acting is like simpler performances because you don't have to go into like those deep emotional realms.
Yeah, but keep in mind too that like I mean that touches on one of the biggest themes in this game, which is like the way that your memories and trauma get passed from generation to generation. With these sisters, nothing is getting passed from generation to generation. They're being cloned from like the same piece of DNA. It's not like they're evolving or passing on like traits and genes. They are being born from the same person with the same genetic code over and over again.
Am I crazy for just completely disagreeing that these characters don't show emotion, or am I putting words in your
Oh,
guys' mouth?
no. They show emotion. I
It's
think
like rage.
yeah, they don't get big emotions, big sadness, big mad.
I mean, they get big mad, but they don't like no one cries and like yeah, it's anger is the emotion that they show.
Yeah, and I mean that makes sense, right? Because Iris
Yeah,
is very clearly a fucking rage-filled individual.
yeah. I just think it would be personally like more interesting for the performances if like maybe like Watcher or something figured that out because it watches and goes, "Hey, we're missing this" or something, you know? Like not to go too far into like a, here's how I would write it, but that's why for me, I think that's kind of like a big thing for me because I like in performances a lot, like kind of that when characters get like really emotional on that side, like Verzo and kind of all that shit.
I don't know. I'd rather them just be consistent, and I felt like they were all very consistent.
I, I guess if I were to give one criticism in that regard, it's kind of a crying shame that the actual like super highlight emotional moments in this game don't have much in the way of performances as they're happening. I'm thinking of like when Watcher smashes Secretary.
Yeah.
Can you guys? Sorry, I think my mic's cutting out again.
No, you're good.
Like when Watcher smashes Secretary or when she stabs the Allmother. Like there's a couple of lines, I guess, but there's not much that is said. Period. There is not much to give a performance of. But like that's not necessarily a criticism of like what's happening. Like the fact that there's not a line, I don't think is a bad thing. I think it's fine. I don't know.
I think Secretary's performance was great getting smashed.
Did he say stuff while he was getting smashed? I was more thinking of Watcher in that
Uh,
moment.
yeah, there was definitely like a oh wait, no, please don't kind of thing.
All right, let's get off the performances and officially dive into narrative. Jordan, I think you can probably direct this one a little bit since you've got like the questions and shit.
Sure, yeah. So question number one was the payoff from all the mystery that the game was putting down satisfactory, or did it fall short? And is this like the big mystery something that you value in games generally, Ben?
I guess in this particular game, I didn't really value the mystery so much as I did just the motivation that I felt towards making sure that all the characters got as good of an ending as possible. So I guess like you could, I mean, this is a super stretch, but finding out if there is a good ending, is that a mystery? I don't think so. So I guess I don't know. When I was playing through the game, the mystery, like I guess I just kind of assumed that everything would be explained, and I guess that's kind of a cop out answer. But I don't know. I was just so emotionally wrecked. I didn't really want to spend that much time trying to like piece together everything logically in the moment, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry, that's all I had. I didn't mean to like.
No, you're good. Tom, do you want to go?
Sure. So, uh, I feel like a quote unquote big mystery is better served when it happens naturally and isn't like a focal point of the story. So, um, the thing that got me like thinking after I read this question is like Lost, right? So with something like Lost, it's like it's always, well, not always, but it's usually going to be nearly impossible to live up to the mystery that it builds up because I think we as human beings have a tendency to like build up a ton of like contrivances and like story endpoints in our heads that like end up in an idealized version of that story and what it is that you actually want. So anything less than your idealized version is just going to naturally be worse. And by the end of it, you're just going to be like, well, why didn't they do this? And this would have been so much better. And they didn't answer this and blah, 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 blah. So, like, with that in mind, I didn't really get a huge sense that, like, the overarching mystery from this game. Um, I I didn't get that huge sense like I was watching something like Severance or Knives Out or whatever, right? Like, and then rewinding back to Lost, like J.J. Abrams describes his storytelling technique, right, as like the mystery in a box or whatever. And so the way he describes that is you drop people in the middle of the mystery, like while the mystery's in progress, and that leaves you as the audience wanting to know answers in both directions. And so to me, this game is less about using a mystery in that way as a hook and more about using it as like a lens that it wants to use that mystery to constantly like reframe the story and what you're seeing. So to me, like there isn't really like the game doesn't really dangle a mystery box that's going to blow the doors off the room when it's opened. It's more about using some of the questions it has to try and shift your perspective on things that you're already aware of. So like to me it never really felt like the game was looking for a payoff to that mystery so much as it was looking for like a satisfying emotional conclusion, and I think that the game hits on that like perfectly.
Nice, I like it. Seth, do you want to go?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Thomas said, but I think I might be coming at it from a slightly different angle if I understood everything he said correctly. My answer to the question is just a simple yes. I felt that the payoff for all the mystery the game was putting down was satisfactory, and I have a very specific reason for feeling that way, and that is that when the game starts and you see Watcher killing Allmother, you kind of get the sense that that is going to be the end of the game, or at least I felt that way. Like all of the events of the game are going to lead up to this moment, and maybe there will be like a chapter afterwards for the fallout, but it'll probably end somewhere around there. So I was actually really surprised when the game kept going and it set its. I wasn't necessarily surprised that the game didn't stop there after I played the rest of the game, but what I was surprised by was that it actually set its scope fairly wide, and I felt like that was a much better payoff for the mystery than like answering the kind of question that you're posed at the start of the game. I felt like if this game was purely about the mystery, then, for example, at the start of the game, it wouldn't have shown you who killed the Allmother. It would have just showed someone killing the Allmother, and then you would get to see the events leading up to it, try to figure out, okay, one of the sisters is going to kill the Allmother. Who's it going to be? Like, this game didn't feel like it was about mystery to me, kind of like Thomas was getting at. It felt like it was more about the emotional moments, and for that reason, through the frame of this question, I feel like it did work for me.
You fucking asshole. You basically stole my answer to the next question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you were talking about that, I thought you were actually talking about the next question. But
Well, I
guess,
mean, yeah, they were a little intermingled for me.
yeah, and that's fair because it's hard not to like just crisscross all
Yeah.
over the place. But when you brought up the word scope, it made me think about like how I thought about like the first couple of hours of the game. I was actually pretty iffy on the game when I first started because I was actually really concerned that like this shit was gonna be like just white noise drama for women for the first couple hours. But then like chapter 5 and then 6 came around and then it became like this, like I don't want to say like this is like super novel or unique. I'm sure there's like lots of media that does this, but like it made me like the entire experience, especially in the latter half, made me think of like Isaac Asimov, where like you take like this ordinary situation and you add like a weird like external impetus of change, and then you like, and if that's not enough, you have to like take that and then you extrapolate it for like 10 generations in the future, and you just ask like a bunch of what if questions and like just like what happens like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years from now. And like it's like this weird like sci-fi angle to it that I guess that was the mystery of it for me, is like where is this going next? Like
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And also to kind of differentiate my discussion for the next question, a lot of what I was referring to is like the fact that they answered the mystery surrounding the virus. They give you like very clear, explicit stuff about what the occupants were up to, and there's enough vague there to let the mystery continue being interesting, despite the fact that they're willing to give you all of this insight into like why the virus started and stuff. That's why it worked for me. Like they set the scope very wide, and they didn't get in the way of themselves in the process of that, I guess.
I kind of like what Ben said, where like the first few hours was like weird, and I think kind of that's in the vein of why I asked this question, because I think the game would be better if it wasn't just trying to be like an obfuscated mess for the first half, because like there's so many things where it does with like the redaction and everything, where it's like this is just it feels like it wasn't adding anything to me, it was only being like what the fuck, and then when they like got rid of that and they were just like, hey, here's kind of just like everything that's going on after like chapter 6, then it was like, oh, this is much more like a normal kind of story without like random mystery that I feel like was kind of just a little bit shoehorned in personally.
Yeah, I guess it was a weird question for me to approach because, like, I don't know if you meant this, but when you used the word mystery, I thought you meant like if I like really like mulled over like who are these people really, like what are their relationships, like who was Iris really, who were her parents, and like I guess like for some reason I just didn't really care about any of that stuff, and I don't know if anyone else did, like as much as like what they represented in the story emotionally. That mattered to me a lot more than like any kind of like hidden information.
Yeah. No, I agree
Yeah,
with you.
I didn't know that. Other than the game framing it this way, I didn't know I was supposed to care about all of that until the back half of the game.
Basically, yeah.
I wasn't invested, I guess, is another way of putting that.
Yeah, so showing that Watcher kills the All-Mother is one of the first things you see. A nice glimpse into the future, or does it spoil what could have been a very surprising moment, Seth?
I don't feel like it spoils it, but I don't know. I mulled over this question a lot, which is why I was glad that you posed it, and also kind of why I brought it up in the previous question. I I don't feel like it spoiled it, and I like that they did it, and I don't know how. I think if they didn't show the first scene of the game, the first 3, maybe 4 chapters would be incredibly dull. But I think it's very engaging. Like, I'm not going to talk about like the quality of it or how good it is or whatever, but I think it's very engaging to watch this like fall from grace type of thing. Like, how does someone like Watcher, who's so devoted to the All Mother through like chapters 1 and 2, how does she go from that to killing the All Mother? That's like a fun character arc to watch, and I think it's. I don't know if you need the first scene in the game in order to illustrate that, but I think it was still good. I don't think it spoiled it for me. It would have been actively bad if, when you get back to that scene, it didn't have another even bigger reveal. Maybe not even bigger, but another reveal. That it would have been bad if the principal didn't show up there and then like the real game unfolds. It would have been bad if that didn't happen.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of that.
Yep.
I think I like
Speak
what
for
Seth
everyone?
said, what Seth brought
Oh my
up
God.
when he was answering the first question, which was like, what if it was like a shadow and you didn't know who killed him and you're trying to figure that out or something? Because I actually really didn't like that they just showed you that in the beginning, because then I'm basically just like, okay, how do we get there? And like I'm not as interested where like the whole, because like Iris is gonna die, right? So then you're just like, okay, how do we get there? But if you don't know Iris is gonna die, then when she shows up there, you're like, oh shit, is she actually gonna kill her? Where she shows up there, you're like, okay, this bitch is dead.
Yeah, like I kind of like you, I don't want to approach the like this is how it should have been written territory, but I think there's a lot of ways where you could have shown that scene and dropped a lot of hints and foreshadowing and like made it kind of a whodunit. But I think that also gets in the way of the rest of the themes of the game. So I don't know if they should have done it. I don't know. Like I said, I have mixed feelings on it. But I don't feel like it spoiled that moment because of the principal having a time there.
I have
Yeah.
something embarrassing to admit because I honestly forgot that they showed it. Because like I remember when you posted these questions and I read this question, I was like, they did? So I looked up the I just typed into like YouTube, I typed in like 1000xRESIST intro, and I clicked it, and literally the first second of the game
Yeah.
is this scene. And when I saw that, I kind of like just cracked up, like I'm so dumb.
It's like
That's hilarious.
it's like the first thing they show in the fucking Steam
Yeah,
trailer.
Yeah.
that is true. I saw that
That was
afterwards
funny.
when I went back to the Steam page. I bought a copy for my sister.
Then that's sick. I wonder if Ben had like the true authentic experience of not seeing that scene then.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think I did.
I uh unless I've been talking for a bit, so if you guys want to jump in, go ahead. But I have one more thing that I want to say with this question.
You're good, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you guys, so we'll get there.
Um I mentioned earlier that I felt like this game should have had more moments like the resonance with the occupant in, I keep forgetting, chapter 5, I think, where you like collect the phrases and have to try to understand what he says. I thought the start of the game actually did that a bit, and I really wish they had leaned into it more, because I really, even more than watching watchers kind of fall from grace, I fucking loved remembering what the dialogue options were at the start of the game and trying to understand what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that, and I really wish the game had leaned more into that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was sick. I also thought it was interesting that they just kind of like told you what it was if you just went to the library. They were just like, yeah, here's where all these come from. I thought it was going to be like a lot more of like a fucking find the tablets that Moses threw off Mount Sinai or something. Instead, it was just like, here you go.
Yeah, like I really wanted a little bit of that like kind of Chance of Senar thing from that and from the rest of the game. Like, because like you hear some of those pieces of dialogue before you go to the library, depending on where you go exactly, and trying to understand what those lines meant before being explicitly told, I thought was very engaging to me.
I do think that the way that the game like tells you what all of those like little catchphrases mean, and then like as you go through the story, it sort of like recontextualizes it over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I think that that still like makes it really worth it. Like because you learn what like red to blue means, but the game uses red to blue so many times in so many different ways that it always like keeps the phrase interesting. Same thing with like hair to hair. Like the only one that doesn't really evolve is like 6 to 1 or like hecky whatever because that's just a typo. But um, I guess maybe it is just red to blue that's like very interesting to me. I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't feel like hair to hair did, but the red to blue was definitely like the most interesting one, and it's like the one that I feel like they like focused on the least too, in terms of like the character saying it and everything.
Well, you want my answer to this question?
Yeah.
So, kind of goes a little bit in line with what Seth was saying before. So, um, I do think that showing it right away does undercut like a small part of the mystery that the game's trying to propagate, but it's not the mystery that I think that this game is interested in. So, I think that it was a good decision to shift the suspense from what happens to why does this happen, because that results in like completely different set of questions that the game's trying to ask you. And I think in a game that is more interested in exploring things from like the side of thematics than like a conventional like story beat to story beat kind of nature, undercutting some part of that story's events so that you can focus on those thematic questions like works in its favor. So like yes, you do lose some of like the plot twisty, shocking betrayal, holy shit kind of reveal, but the core mystery of the game lives on like in exchange for sort of a deeper dive into the questions that the game's wanting you to ask about like the characters' motivations and their morality. So like to me the game never really wanted you to go from like oh shit she did it as much as it wants you to think like what's going to make her do this and will I agree with her motivation when she finally does. So ultimately, yes, it does kind of like undercut some of that mystery, but I think it serves the greater purpose of like what the story and game are trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I don't like how the first like 3 or 4 chapters were framed like hyper mystery, like throw you all over the place, make it seem really confusing. Like I think that kind of goes against like what you said of like why they would do that.
What qualities of the first couple chapters made you feel that way?
Made it feel like it was just super mystery. I mean, they were just like throwing you all over the place and just kind of like talking about not like it was just like everything was just like, oh shit, what's this gonna be? Kind of with like the occupants and everything, and then like eventually they just give up the goat, and then all like that mystery stuff just kind of breaks away. Because like I think they're being like intentionally obtuse in the first couple chapters of like telling you certain things. And I think maybe it's to hide the principal reveal, if anything.
I don't know if there was really that much mystery with that because I felt like all those, at least a lot of those things were like so allegorical that it was just obvious. like what their purpose was? Am I too high for this?
No, because I agree with you. Like, fuck, I lost my thought. Hang on, it's coming back. Nope, it didn't come back. But I guess moral of the story is that I do agree, like, sort of in general with what Ben is saying, where I don't think the game was ever like putting the occupants in front of you or like Iris in front of you and being like, who is this person? Like, what are they going to do? What's going to happen? It was more just like, here are the things that happened and why, like, what did the characters do that led to this? And why did the characters act the way that they did? Which is like a much more interesting question to me than who are the occupants and why did they put a fucking cube around the earth or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
agree, but I felt like they hide the year and things like that, where like they just hide a lot of the information at the beginning of the game, and like a lot of the things like Iris has redacted memories and like there's random redacted words and redacted conversations that like literally just use redaction, and like that's the part that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, if your opinion is essentially that they hide too much information from you in service of the mystery, I would probably agree with that. But at the end of the day, like the way I approached this question as I was playing as well is how would my experience of the first couple chapters be if they didn't show that the Watcher was going to fall from grace like that? And I think it would have been significantly more boring. That's kind of the beginning and end of my analysis of whether or not it should have been in the game or whether it spoiled the moment. I felt like it serviced the narrative and it made those first couple chapters, which otherwise would have been kind of boring, I think, more palatable and interesting.
Yeah, and I think to some degree as well, like when I think about it, like the alternative to not allowing some of those like secondary, tertiary sort of plot features unfold naturally throughout the story would be the game starting with this like obnoxious exposition dump where it's like a fucking Star Wars scroll of the occupants came to Earth and they made everybody cry to death. And no, I don't want that. I really like the like sort of Brechtian super out of order way that the game presents itself to you with. And the only reason why there really is even a mystery to begin with is purely because the game is telling itself out of order. And I think it unfolds. So here's kind of the way to sum this up is by the end of the game, I the only question that I really had left as far as like what happened in the story was did they ever tell me what Iris said to Zhao in the gym? Like that was the only thing I was like, did they tell me that? Because I feel like there wasn't enough huge mystery that I was enveloped in it, and they gave me answers at sort of like a naturally satisfying pace.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why I think like the second half is better than the first half at it because I think the first half is asking all the questions and the second half answers all of them. Do we want to do the next question?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Did you resonate more with the game's journey with the characters or with the themes that the game is trying to get you to think about, such as like the mercy versus justice or the memory equals existence, etc.? Tom.
Yeah, easily the themes, not even like particularly close. So, and that's not even like a knock on the game's journey or its characters, but the game is like always very much trying to get you to dwell on its themes. So, like, every single character in this game is emblematic of the game's themes in some way, shape, or form. And like 95% of the characters are just sort of the inner machinations of Iris's psyche and how she got where she went. So, um, just sort of writ large, I have a natural predilection for art or media that puts something complex in front of me, like asks my reading comprehension if it's sharp enough to like deduce what's going on, and then tells me to dwell on my thoughts within that comprehension rather than like just sitting there and telling me to simply consume it and move on to the next thing. And it's not that there's anything wrong with the latter. It's just that I mean I love doing that too, but the former is what keeps games lingering in my mind like forever inside of the pantheon of what I think are the best games of all time. And this game very much like asks the questions that will linger in my head very long after I've finished this game.
I can go next if you guys want.
Good.
All right, so I'm actually kind of the opposite. It was all about the characters for me, and that's not and to mirror your point. That's not to say that it failed on the themes. Um, for me personally, like a lot of like the lessons about and the themes about like morality and ethics and all that, like that they were using, I felt like the way they implemented it was a little bit too allegorical for me to like genuinely resonate with. But the characters like super fucked me up. Like there were so many moments in this game that I honestly like I cried like real pathetically a lot during this game. Um, there were like two moments in particular. The one where Watcher's dying and you're trying to convince Fixer to go see her. That and she's like, "You're just being dramatic." That shit fucking destroyed me. And the one at the end where Iris is in her all mother garb and she's talking to her mom. That shit fucking destroyed me too. So yeah, for me it was all about the characters, like 100%. And I do have like I kind of want to shoehorn in a question because I bought this game for my sister, but she's kind of holding off on playing it because she looked at the Steam page and there were like a bunch of like trigger warnings, and it's kind of a big thing for her. So I do think it's actually good for her to not play it at least right now. But she did ask me something that I thought was interesting. She showed me a screenshot of a Steam review. And like it's like one of those like super high effort Steam reviews, but they have like a format. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I do. Yeah, where you have to
Yeah.
click the check boxes and shit like that. But
Yeah.
keep going.
Okay, so this exact section was a checkbox. It was like target audience, and it said like kids, teens, uh, like young adults, adults, and the person had every field checked. So she wanted me to ask you guys, should kids play this game?
Fuck no! What the
That
fuck?
that's
They
what I
won't.
said too. But I just wanted like a sanity check from you guys real quick.
I don't think any. If you're younger than like 23, I don't think you're gonna get anything out of this game. Like literally at all. I don't think anyone younger than 23 has beaten this game except like maybe a small handful of like really artsy kids.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
not.
I could see like an older like 16 plus year old getting stuff out of this game, but if yeah, anything younger than that. And the only reason I even say that is because I think there's some like relatable high school scenes and shit
Yeah,
in there that you
No,
can
I
I
glean
agree
agree.
for
from,
sure.
I agree for sure.
but anything
Yeah.
below the age of like 16 and it's all just gonna like fly over your head probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's like that accessibility, that emotional accessibility is a strength in a weird way because I didn't even think about it until you said that just now. Where like it's like to get into it, to connect emotionally, you literally just need like your your edginess education needs to only go up to like Linkin Park and you can connect with the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
I
That's
don't
Yeah.
all
know.
I have to
I kind
say.
of, yeah. I think like for a lot of people of that age, I just literally don't think they would understand this game. Like literally, I
yeah.
don't think they would be able to follow the plot.
I think if you have like an upbringing that's kind of similar to Iris, then I think that's when it's gonna hit the most for like someone of that age. But other than that, yeah, no shot.
Yeah, and that's actually the number one reason why, like, even I recommend to my sister she shouldn't play it right now
Sure,
because, like, like, there are some parts of this game, in my opinion, were very, very intense. Like,
sure.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
the most intense part of this game, IMO, not even close, is I think it's a communion, maybe a communion scene where you're seeing like Iris shortly after they get to the generational ship and they're like experimenting on her, and then you like press X to go to the next scene and it's just like loud blaring alarms with redacted all over the
Yeah,
place. And it's like, oh fuck, like did she just like totally compartmentalize this or fucking
right.
delete it? And like, what the hell happened? And I probably don't want to know.
I think the most intense personally for me was when Watcher gets her eyes stibbity stabbed out because I have an issue with eye shit, so that was very specifically
me
tough
too.
for me.
Oh yeah, me too. That shit fucked me up.
Yeah,
Along with like everything
sound
else
effect
going
was,
on. Yeah.
the sound effect was gross. It's all like squishy.
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring that up, but this
God.
game's like sound design I thought was fucking awesome.
But
I think I agree.
I want to respond to Ben really quick, and just say that basically that I think you and I probably got like the same thing out of this game. I think it was just that. Well, I think the journey for the characters for you, like, I feel like if I was you, I would 100% have the same opinion
Yeah,
because,
yeah.
like, because for you, it must like there must be so many aspects of this game that hit so
Yeah,
fucking
and
close to home.
that's why like yeah, like it doesn't surprise me if people don't feel the same way, and that's also why I said the best voice actress was the old lady mother. Like that shit was brutal for me personally.
Oh yeah, I think
It
they
was
did
like
great.
talking to my own fucking mom.
Yeah, I didn't really call it out, but I think for me, I think the best one is the dad. I like the dad's performance a lot.
Yeah, I oddly enough, and I don't mean to draw racist caricatures, but oddly enough, those two performances remind me a lot of the two parents and everything everywhere all at once.
Oh, yeah.
Just in the sense of like how earnest they are. Like
Oh, I mean,
it's so authentic.
I don't think that there's any sort of like I don't know, racist caricature because like I feel like they serve very similar roles. Like the dad is like the upbeat glue to that family, right?
Mhm.
And even at like the end, the scene that Ben was talking about that's going to come up again later, like Iris asks her mom like, "What kept you going?" Like while you were dealing with all of this and trying to raise me, and she literally just says, "Your dad." That's
Right.
straight out of Everything Everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that. Shall I go?
Yeah.
As is the case with Everything Everywhere All at Once for me, I will take the middle ground between these two people that sided with the characters versus the themes, but I'm going to justify it. But before I do that, I'm going to answer it with characters. The characters resonated with me more than the themes. That's not to say anything about the quality of the themes. However, in my mind, when I'm playing a game, the plot, aka the journey with the characters, if that's how you want to describe it, is what is going to carry me through the game and make me enter the next room, make me turn the next page, whatever. The themes are what are going to linger in my mind for however many weeks, months, days, whatever, after I play the game. So as I was playing, and like, yeah, I'm picking up on the themes and I dig them, but like, I'm not going to get the full frame of reference of what this game is trying to convey to me until I actually finish the game. So if you have a game that's like all theme and no plot, like maybe objectively from your 1,000-foot view, that would be a great game, and maybe it is. But I think that is a much more difficult game to play if it doesn't have any plot. Whereas a game with all plot or just characters and no themes, I mean that's just going to be your shitty AAA game. It's going to be playable, but you're not going to remember it a week from now. And as I finished the game and kind of deliberated, I do think that the themes are powerful. They're incredible. They're great. There's so much to think about. There's so much to think of the interconnectedness between the events of the game and how they affect the characters. And like Thomas mentioned, the recontextualization of everything. Like everything has like a triple, quadruple meaning when you really start digging down into it. But for me, none of that works without really good characters. And for that reason, I just think that the things that are happening to these characters, it's like the characters' responses to them are what's interesting to me, I guess, is my best way of answering that.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you. Like to me, if you just have like thematics that are deep as the ocean, but characters that are like an inch deep, what you have is a philosophy textbook, and that's not that interesting. But and I guess alternatively, if you have the same like super deep themes with super thin characters, that also, in my eyes, tends to come off as just fucking pretentious. Because, like, people still want to enjoy the shit that they watch, right? Like, I don't give a shit what sort of, like, Hegelian dialectics you want to try and fucking convey to me through your 2.5 hour long movie if your characters are boring as shit. Um, so it's really important to marry the two. Like um, in order to carry the themes, you have to have good characters. I don't think the opposite is true for me, at least, where good characters can carry shitty or boring themes. But I think in order to have like the sort of 10 out of 10 narrative that I think this game has, you have to have both, and I definitely think this game has both. Like I was saying, how much more I liked the themes than the characters, or well, I guess I wasn't meaning to come off that way if I did, because I think both are fucking outstanding.
Yeah, I guess like what I'm trying to communicate is like you are both correct, but the reason that the characters resonate more with me is because of how they react to like I'm how do I describe this? Like the themes are conveyed through the crazy fucking shit that happens to all of these characters, like the virus and all the ins and outs of that, and the character's response to that is what resonates the most with me. And like the mother and father are like the best example of that. Like they showcase every single thing that this game is trying to communicate.
Yeah, and I mean I would agree with that, but I think that just gets summed up in the way I answered the question, which is like the moment to moment character interactions are what's going to keep you turning the page, but the themes are what's going to keep the game living in your head for like weeks on end.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I mean, I think the characters resonated more than me than the themes, but yeah, I mean, I would basically just be rehashing mostly what Seth said and Ben said on the character side. So
Jesus, did I just take all of your guys' words with every question? Fuck me.
I mean, that one in particular, I literally feel like I would just be saying the same things you guys said, so I don't want to waste everybody's time.
I do have. I don't know if I want to ask this question. I'm
Go
not
ahead.
sure. Okay, it's
Well, if
about
you
the
want to.
ending. It's kind of weird, and it kind of goes with what I've been like when I talk about stuff like how allegory is used in this game. I was wondering how you guys think about this one specific example of like the intersection of theme and character, and that's the ending. So there's like that Evangelion section where you kind of like choose who lives and who dies. Um, I loved the ending, like the actual outcome that happens, but like I felt kind of weird, kind of Hitlery deciding like very two specific groups of people that share specific phenotypical traits. You guys get the fuck out of here. Everyone else gets to live. It felt kind of uh, judgy to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it.
Oh, dude,
No. Real
actually,
quick.
yeah,
Can
yeah,
I just want to ask a super quick question. Did any of you guys get a bad ending on your first try?
yes,
Yes,
Oh,
I did it. I went through the
I
ending
did.
logically. I think I did
Okay.
it the way it was intended. You let everyone live. You see who the problem was. You murk that person. You see who the next problem was, and then you get the good ending.
So, yeah. So the first time I did it, I let everyone live except the Reds. What are they called? Is it the Reds?
Red
Red Guard.
guard.
Red Guard, yeah. Uh, which just I don't know if you guys know how the ending works, but yeah, that just gives you the bad mauve ending.
Yeah, I think on mine, I forget who all I let live or die, but I know I let Mauve live because I really like the ending, kind of like Ben said, and like the style that it's going for. But my interpretation when I was going through it, and the Keeper gives you this like very philosophical understanding of what you're doing by keeping or killing these people. And I took that to be philosophical, not literal. So when I kept Mauve alive, color me fucking surprised when she just straight up fucking kills everyone when the Keeper is like framing this as, oh, you will be like forgiving this person or whatever. Like, oh, well, I guess I fucked up.
Yeah, no, I had sort of the same reaction, and Uh, I also want to agree with Ben because I think this is maybe one of the game's only like narrative sort of, I don't know,
Faux
issues.
pas.
Yeah, is like I said before, one of the core themes to the game for me is at what point does someone cross the line into the irredeemable, where like all of the every single character other than maybe Iris's mom and dad or like the random kids in the high school, they all have these moments where they reach some sort of like inflection point where you as the player have to decide whether you want to judge this person as evil or not. Like some of the Pacific 50 people, Iris herself, some of the clones, like Noah especially, and then Mauve, and then the game gets to the very end, and it does such a good job of like framing every character as like not quite crossing that line because you can justify their actions, like the means justify the ends for a lot of these characters, right? Like maybe other than the lady who experimented on Iris is like maybe the one like objectively evil person, but even then, she's still like looking out for the future of the species, right? um, and then it gets to Mauve, and I feel like the game just like casts this huge layer of judgment over her, where it's like
Hmm.
you cannot let her live or the game's fucked. And yeah, I did not like that at all.
Honestly, I don't even know why Mo was in the game.
Why that character was such a big fucking deal. I feel like
Was
I
she
lost
the
that.
reason? She the reason? Like she was the one who came up with the bomb idea, right? Or was that someone else?
That was someone else, right?
I mean, she was part of it. I don't know if she came up with it though. I thought that was the Chows.
Because she was Captain whatever. So she was the one who brought you the detonator, I think, as part of it.
Yeah, she was the explosive finish.
Yeah. I mean, I think every ending that's not Epitaph's Red, Epitaph's Blue was trash. I didn't experience any of them. I went back and looked at them afterwards, but I think they're like the ones that bring you back and don't give you the credits are like supposed to be trash.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know there was another one. I just
Yeah.
saw the blue one, and I just assumed that was the
Oh,
Yeah,
true
there's
ending.
Epitaph's Red, Epitaph's Blue, and it's just depending on if you let a principal live or not.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I love the dichotomy between those two endings too. I
Yeah.
think it's really
oh
good.
fuck! I might have to turn on the game again, but
It's
maybe
Yeah,
not.
it's
no, it's
Maybe
definitely
like
worth
way
it.
later.
it's not different
It's
enough
not.
that you
Yeah.
should do that,
I
but
think it's
Yeah,
cool enough.
but it's like no effort to do because you have the chapter select.
Yeah.
yeah, true.
I think it's cool enough too, for sure. I think like
Yeah,
the
it's
dialogue the principal gives is good enough.
I would
so
call it a functional difference between like the ending of 9S versus the ending of A2. It's like close-ish to that.
I think
Not,
it's.
yeah.
not even
Gotcha.
maybe,
I
but
think 9SA2 is a little bit more diverse. I think this is just kind of like you get insight into principal if you redeem her.
I mean, I think the whole thing, right, is that like probably like if there was an umbrella of the themes of this game, like the very tippy top of that umbrella is like memory and the way that we as humans like interface with memory.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that like those two endings, even though they're like damn near the same thing,
Hmm.
it's like a way of saying here's how like the victor gets to write history,
Yeah.
right? And that's sort of what both of the endings are like split on, and I think that's cool.
I thought that was great. Yeah. I mean, I think the ending, specifically going to all the epitaphs, pissed me off for the same reason that like going to all the sisters pissed me off. Of like, oh
That
god, I'm having to
one,
navigate the shit again.
that one pissed me off a lot less for some reason.
I
Were the
liked,
waypoints always on the screen,
Yeah,
or did I imagine that?
at the top. When you say waypoints, you mean like the top compass thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah, that's
thought
always there.
for some reason I just felt a lot less frustrated at that part than at earlier parts, and I don't know why.
It's not as ridiculous as trying to summon the sisters in earlier parts. Like they're in a lot more like obvious spots for sure.
I actually really liked that aspect of it just because of the way that they like twisted it, where you're running around as this like unknown like child, I think,
Yeah.
where it's like, well, how the fuck did they produce a child? And I did it as Red and initially, and so you run around and you see all of like the ghosts of Watcher and stuff, and like that one spot in the ending where you see like Watcher and Fixer projected together is like kind of a subtly and very emotionally impactful like moment that I don't think you would get if you weren't just kind of aimlessly running around the orchard at the end.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. I think the coolest part of the ending is the male pilot that talks. I think that's like the most like holy shit part of the whole fucking ending.
What's he called? Ephemeral?
Ephemeral, yeah.
Ephemeral, yeah.
Yeah, I think the cool part with that is like it kind of alludes to the fact that like maybe one of those other people that the occupants chose like lived and got out earlier or something and like has already started to like reestablish society.
Yeah, I think that's a very good kind of open to interpretation layer of an ending. Because there's also an interpretation of like maybe they just used the DNA from the bodies in the ship to clone them or some shit.
Yeah.
I did rip that straight out of the video.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that they mention that there was like a shitload of other kids, but then they just don't bring them up again. So it's just like completely up to us.
They're gonna have a 1000xRESIST expanded cinematic universe with the other bases, like Fallout.
I think they said they're doing something shorter in scope, like a manga style thing, manga cut style for their next game or something.
That'd be cool.
I wouldn't expect anything crazy.
So whatever it is, I hope it's a game because I'll buy it, and if it's not a game, I won't buy it. Like it's really that simple.
as far as I know, I think it's going to be a game. So yeah.
Where do you guys want to go? Do you guys want to do anything else with the narrative? Do you want to jump to awards? Where do you want to go from here?
I wrote a fucking book about the narrative of this game, so I'm not gonna like bore everyone with that. So I'll just I'll go wherever.
I mean, if you guys want to talk more about the narrative, then by all means.
I have a question I'll pose. One of the more interesting aspects of this game to me is the way that the reconstructed Jow that presumably is inside of Iris's head sort of floats around in the narrative. And so I'm curious what you guys think of that reconstructed Jow as far as like, do you think it is bringing Iris some degree of comfort, or do you think it is holding her prisoner inside of her own head more than she already is?
I thought it was a symbol of guilt, personally.
I feel like I'm not understanding. What is the reconstructed Jow? Like the picture Jow?
Talking about the picture Jow? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one that.
No, not the cloned one. The one that, like, as far as I could tell, probably only existed in like the clones couldn't see her, right? So just picture Jow.
And I'm sorry. Now that I understand that, could you repeat the question?
So, do you think that this reconstructed like picture Jow is more of a comfort or more of like a prison for Iris? I'm just curious about your guys' take on this.
I guess I would have to say prison because I said it, she was like kind of a symbol of guilt to me. So I guess that errs toward the side of being a prison.
I thought it was more like comfort, like kind of like the only friend that she had, is kind of gone. She's trying to like bring that back.
I can see it both ways for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why Tom's asking the question.
Honestly, I don't feel like I have a strong enough opinion on this to say for sure.
I mean, stemming from this question, that kind of makes me wish that they focused more on like Iris overall after becoming the All Mother, even though they kind of did. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of cool shit there that I don't know, like such as this question.
Well, I think I think my interpretation of that would be Iris probably just like stopped evolving as a person by the time that she gets stibby stabbied. And by the time that that happens, like she has sort of reached like the terminal endpoint of who she is going to grow into as a person. So there probably just isn't that much to really explore there because like again, a big portion of her character is just like being stuck in this like cycle of like inherited genetic trauma to a degree. And so that's again represented by the clones in the best way, but that's basically what I'm saying. Like, she's been trapped inside of her own head for so fucking long that at some point she just kind of hit the brakes and stopped.
I thought that's because of the keepers. I thought the keepers like basically melted her fucking mind from all the communions that like she doesn't know how much time passed and everything. Like when she saw Principal and everything.
Yeah, I guess that's also probably true too, right? Where like maybe the keepers like zip zop zoobity bopped all of her fucking
Yeah.
memories, and then she also just kind of stopped.
Yeah, no, I agree that she definitely like stopped development, but I thought it was more because like the keepers basically forced her to stop because of all the memory sharing and everything more
Well,
than the trauma.
So this gets into another fun question that I could ask that is actually directly and like one-to-one tied with this, which is how you would interpret the occupant's riddle in chapter 5. Like, would you interpret that as something that is more hopeful in terms of like what they're trying to say is like the baby thinks I can change, or is it more like fatalistic where they're just saying like, nah, you're trapped in this cycle and you can't get out of it without our help?
I'm what the
And
riddle is again.
it's the whole thing in chapter 5. So like, there's a star and a dangerous
Okay, sure.
gravity, etc. And I think that reading into that poem gives you like really big insights into like the overall things that this game is trying to say, and how you choose to interpret that would sort of answer the question that you were posing as far as like, did she stop growing because of the watchers sucking her brains out, or just because that's who she was? And that's like if you haven't spent time looking or thinking about that riddle, now is not the time to do it, but
Yeah.
something I would recommend doing.
Yeah, like I don't know. As I was playing, at least the riddle just obviously there's more to it, but it just felt like it was describing the story of the occupants slash the story of the occupants plus humans, and like I'm sure there's more to it than that, but yeah, I don't know.
You know, a theme I completely like forgot about was the pigeon thing until like right now. I completely forgot that they were doing the whole pigeon thing, and that seemed like a big fucking deal.
Oh, yeah, what was the deal with the pigeon? Now that you say that, I forgot about that fucking
It's
pigeon.
because like the
There-
pigeons are always like destined to go back home.
And there is a ton of imagery with that and how it relates to father and mother and like returning to Hong Kong and
Yeah, exactly.
like the repeated plane motifs that go along with pigeons.
I completely forgot about that, but I think that's really cool. I also thought it was really cool that like that's like one of the first weird things that they show you, like it's just the fucking giant pigeon, and it's like beware of bird on the ground.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know if I'm going to play the entire game again, but I'm probably going to go through chapter 1 again now that I have some understanding.
Yeah, like
See what's going on
there's
with pigeon.
there's a reason why on like Wednesday or something I was like, God, I should really play through this game again. Some of that being, first of all, this game is fucking dense, and second, I did literally basically play it in one sitting, and by the
Yeah.
time I was done at like 1 in the morning, my brain was fucking fried.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have another Steam meta question from my sister. So, again, stemming from her concern about like how she'd be able to handle like all the triggering content, she wanted to ask me to ask you guys why this game was in a Steam sale bundle called Feel Good Bundle.
Well, it's
Was
it's
it ironic?
It's a happy
No,
ending.
Well, no.
I just looked it up. It is in that bundle.
But do you want to know the
It's
other game in the
mouth-washing.
bundle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mouth-washing.
Is it ironically named? Because it has to be.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
I-
two games. It's this game and mouthwashing. It's completely
Okay.
ironic.
Okay. Yeah. No way. Mouthwashing
it's
is a
completely
horrific
ironic.
game.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I never played
If-
mouthwashing, but now that I know,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
I asked
This
Mouth-
game,
I asked that
Mouthwashing-
question earnestly, and
Last
now
I knew-
I have the earnest answer.
Last I knew, Mouthwashing was one of the games that got fucking removed on Steam after
It got-
the fucking pay service shit. If that
Yeah.
tells you anything about
Oddly-
that one.
Oddly enough, this game and Mouthwashing have a lot in similar.
I
Or,
actually
similar.
I agree with that actually.
I'm thinking specifically of the opening of both games.
Mouthwashing is a lot more like harsh though, isn't it? With the, like the
Oh,
trigger
yeah.
shit that it does. Yeah, because
Oh,
like I know
oh,
where
yeah.
it goes.
Oh, yeah.
And
The
it's
1000 times resist is like baby shit compared
Yeah.
to mouthwashing, at least in terms of like the horror.
yeah.
1000 times resist has like literally, like mathematically 1/5 the amount of triggering shit as mouthwashing.
Yeah,
And that is
mouthwashing
like
is
the
crazy.
and that's like the
I
dad committing suicide.
shit. I don't know if I could play mouthwashing now that I'm hearing about
I
it.
wasn't gonna
Oh, it's
recommend it
rough.
because I didn't think Jordan could play it. So
I mean, this is also the very end of the game, but Ben absolutely could not do the ending sequence with the big wormy snake thing through the fence.
Oh
Mhm.
hell no! Oh hell no!
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It would fuck you up.
What do you guys got as far as narrative? Because, like I said, I could talk about this all day, but I don't want to
I've
hog up
kind
the
of
airspace.
expounded everything I
I mean, yeah,
wanted to.
you feel free to bring anything up that you want to bring up, because
Yeah, I just like honestly, as I was like writing stuff down for this game, I did most of my notes today. And the reason I had so much to say in the first few sections is because that was before my boss decided to spend 4 hours on the floor and bug me the entire time. So I
Huh.
didn't actually have time to write anything down for gameplay, even though I have a lot of positive feelings on it. Or
I mean,
for
narrative.
narration.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, like the narration of this game is like just omega fucking dense.
So
Like,
I need-
there's so much to it.
I need to ask if this line is intentionally wrong or if it was just written wrong and then voice acted wrong. And I just posted it. It's how aim can an arrow from a bow that can't bend. And Bang Bang Fire says that, and it broke my brain.
I think that's intentional.
I literally don't. If that's intentional and
like,
not like a flip, I have no idea what that's going for.
When I say intentional, I think it's like intentionally like esoteric. I don't know. Like maybe that's the wrong word, but like
I don't think that the syntax is incorrect. It just sounds really weird.
Well,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be
that's
how
what
can
I
an
was-
arrow
well, I
aim
mean-
from a bow that can't bend? That's how you would say it if it was correct. Aim is in the
But,
wrong
like-
spot.
But you could read it as
okay, I see what you're saying now,
Hold on.
Sesh. Fuck.
Yeah, because I thought it was supposed to be how can an arrow aim from a bow that can't bend, but she spoke it how aim can an arrow, and I was like, "There's no way this
That-
is a double typo."
Yes,
Yeah, but
that
it's
does
like-
make me
it's-
think it's intentional. I just don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. That's
I
why
think
I wanted to ask.
Yeah, I think it's almost certainly intentional because of the character the Bang Bang Fire is. But I
Yeah.
like syntactically, aim can and arrow. I
Yeah.
don't think that's incorrect. It just sounds fucking weird.
Yeah, I just had to bring it up because it fucked me up so bad.
I think that BBF just sort of has a lot of idiosyncrasies in her speech, and I think that just kind of like plays into it rather because I can't imagine through all the iteration and voice line recording someone wouldn't have been like,
Yeah.
what?
That's exactly why I'm like, what the fuck? And then like I just don't get why it would be spoken in that way though. Like unless it was like her brain is just like broken at this point, and I think that there would be more obvious ways to do that. Especially
I mean,
since
I
they
think
did
that's
the Go ahead.
I think that's column A, and I think column B is like Bang Bang Fire is the military person, right? And bows are invoking this imagery of like medieval militarism, and that line is spoken or written in a very old Englishy kind of way, like a very medieval
Sure.
way that maybe it's trying to invoke. That's the best I got.
Yeah, that would make sense. I just think that she should use like thou or something.
Sure.
And then yeah, I wanted to paste like what I forgot was like my favorite moment with Secretary, where he's just doing the fucking faces and making noises.
Fucking cow emojis.
That shit was so sick.
That was great.
I forgot that happened, but yeah, Dan, that was awesome.
Yeah, honestly, the comedy in this game really was solid. Like,
Oh yeah,
even though, again, the hot take, even though Zhao's performance kind of bugged me and it made me dislike that character, I thought she was fucking hilarious.
oh yeah. There's a lot of great ones. Is she the one who says, "Why are you fat and sad"? Is that Zhao who says that,
I
or did
think
you say
so,
that
yeah.
about Zhao?
And Dumpster Zhao.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so funny.
to your credit, she is designed to be a little hateable on purpose, I
Oh
think.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is definitely meant to be cringe.
Especially from like Iris's perspective, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because like
Hmm.
she is supposed to be the thing that demonstrates to you that Iris is really a fucked up person because of the way she treats Zhao.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think that they didn't reveal what was said to Zhao if it's supposed to be this inflection point of what Thomas just described?
I
I don't.
don't. I think I'm pulling stuff so far out of my ass that like my intestines are empty. I don't think that they ever really wanted to straight up come out and say, like, with fervor that they were lesbians. And my assumption is that Zhao made some sort of like profession of love, like, be with me sort of thing. And Iris was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get away from me.
I was going to take the storytelling reasoning, and it's the same reason why you don't know what's in the suitcase in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not.
there's that too.
It's not as interesting to know what the thing is, rather than just knowing that it is a thing that does a thing. And it's better for us to talk about what do you think she said, rather than it just being like she called your mom ugly or something.
Yeah, there's that. That's definitely like the motivation behind not saying it. But like, gun to my head, if I had to like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
interpret
yeah.
what I think they like wanted to say, is what I said.
It definitely seems like it's some kind of like Zhao had a crush on her and wrote something about it in her diary, and Iris read it and told people like, can you believe that this bitch wants to? Yeah. And I think the game like
Yep.
is okay with like sexual themes and shit, because like it shows the vibrator on her bed when she's grabbing stuff, right? So like it kind of has already broached that topic, so that could easily be what it could be.
Yeah, but it does like patently avoid it sort of everywhere else, right? Like with the redacted scene I was talking about,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can
Of course.
only imagine what that had to do with, and it would not
Right.
be pleasant.
Yeah, and the same thing with Mimi being like, we should impregnate her, and Johnson's like, go fuck yourself, basically.
Yeah, that too.
God, fucking Johnson. What a character.
Yeah, that guy's great. I actually wish he was utilized a little
Yeah.
more than he was.
Or I wish he had like a better send off, because I feel like he just kind of fucking died.
Well, I mean, I feel like
How
everyone in there just kind of fucking died.
Which I don't like. I don't like that at all. But yeah, go ahead, Seth.
how did he die in the because I know it's
Just
in chapter 9 or 10 or whatever, but I don't remember how he does.
Iris got the power from the occupant and then killed everyone else that was around.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he was one of the ones that got shot or some shit. Okay.
No, he lived, but when they went to the surface and she got that, she killed them all.
All right, I have a question to pose.
Go ahead.
If you could alter one of Iris's memories inside of a communion, what would you change and why?
Are you talking about like some mirror shit from Torment?
I mean that's literally what communions are, right? They're literally just mirror spheres.
Yeah, but the part about like
You
literally
could
changing the
change,
events,
yeah.
like or changing that person's memory such that it
Oh, I mean,
basically becomes their new reality.
that's kind of what that's kind of what Watcher did, right? She fucking lived through Iris's like
Yeah, but
memories
did she
870 whatever times.
interfere though?
Yeah, that's the whole point. They say that you like the point of communions is to go
Oh yeah, you're
inside
right.
of a
It was like
memory
that
and like
dog. You're right. I'm sorry.
yeah,
You're right.
like
It's like that Doctor
change
Strange
variables.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah,
thought they
I'm
were
sorry. I
one-way
did know that.
communication, though. Didn't they say that?
Say again.
I thought they said communions were one-way communication from the communer to the communee.
I think that's true. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
like
I don't.
altering
Yeah,
reality.
I
I
think that
thought it
still
was
allows for both to be true at the same time.
I don't know. I thought it was only possible to change reality with the like keeper communion at the end.
I don't think anything is changing reality. I think you're just going into a memory and observing a slight change in a variable, but it's not altering reality in any sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
way.
I guess
Oh,
what
I
you're
see.
saying is different than it's not like a mirror caster. It's basically like a simulation.
Yeah, like if you could go back in one of the communions and change something for Iris to see the outcome, what would you do?
Okay. Oof.
I know my answer.
You should say it because like this, I don't even know what I would say.
Hang on, give me a
I
second before you say it.
all right.
If Seth has something, he can bring it up.
I don't know. This is a hard one.
Oh, it is a hard one. Okay, go ahead, Tom. That's enough.
I
That's too much
would
said.
I would go back and see what would happen if she never put her hamster in the microwave.
That was such a fucked up scene. I forgot about that one, so you just brought it up. So
Yeah.
fucking unnecessary.
Again, just there to show you how fucked up she is. Because I think this game goes to great lengths to like not allow you to really sympathize with Iris until chapter 7.
So you guys thought that Iris was the focal point of that scene?
What do you mean?
It's
I thought the most important part of that one was the parents.
it's
Oh
both.
yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying, but yeah,
Yeah, I didn't mean like derail. I think I just had a misunderstanding.
No, I think both are right. Hmm.
I guess the thing is, if you
I mean,
change too much of her past, it makes the occupants less interested in her, and then she probably just dies to the virus.
yeah, I mean, like if we're just observing, I don't even know. Like, is this something I can change? Like, what if she stayed with her parents?
But I don't like. Go ahead. You can respond to that.
I mean, that's all I'm asking. Is like that's what I'm saying. I think it would be interesting to see what would happen with her parents if she stayed with them. Like, maybe probably just died to the virus or whatever. But I think that would be an interesting sequence of events to watch by comparison. Not to say that the other is uninteresting, but like if I could watch an alternate reality, that's one that I would like to watch.
Yeah, I
I
feel like
think
she has like a few big inflection points, and that's one of them.
Because she does kind of just leave, and I think that's a big part of what fucks her parents up, if I'm remembering correctly. Like maybe even if she doesn't stay, but at least like gives a proper send off to them, you know?
Yeah, she's a very callous person.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would change any one of them because I feel like every part is like integral to the character.
Well, sure, but like if you're a watcher and you're watching this shit 867 times and you want to go for the 868th and you want to see something real interesting this time, what would you do?
Hmm.
I have one more
Like
if you
some
still need to think
morbid
about it.
shit, like just for fun.
Just anything.
Like Jesus Christ, there's like infinity. Like oh my God, but they're
I,
all
I have
fucked up. All the things I come up with are fucked up. So no, just forget what I'm saying.
I like something as innocuous as like, what if she took the whale in her backpack? You know?
I was thinking about the vibrator. Yeah, I think that would have been my fun answer. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking like, what if I can't remember if you asked specifically about Iris, but like, what if youngest didn't pull clone Zhao out early? I think that's the implication, and it was like a
Ooh,
fully manifested version of Zhao. Like, how would that have
Yeah,
changed
that's a cool one.
Fallout?
yeah, that's a good one. I
Yeah,
think it would have been the same, but I think it might have been a little less intense. But
Right.
You
yeah,
guys-
that is a good one.
Can you like remind me why she hated that clone so much?
I think it was two parts. Number one, she was recreated in a hideous form, which probably just like exacerbated the guilt she was already feeling. And two, uh, I mean, they committed the first sin, right?
Yeah.
Like they ate the fruit from the fucking tree, which she explicitly told them not to. And authoritarian rulers typically don't like people breaking their one rule.
Yeah, I guess it's just because it's like Iris is fucked up, and you gotta like remember that the whole time because like obviously that's not like a reasonable response. I did like how like Super Saiyan that scene was though, just to kind of like bring that up. How like immediately just fucking killed that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, she
Commitment.
teleports behind that bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that shit
Yeah.
was
Oh
crazy.
man, while I was playing, I just want to say that was the best example I can think of a Chekhov's gun in video games. It is the best example I can think of where she's holding the knife and she's like ready to cut the cake or whatever, like before Zhao.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's a big fucking knife. What do you got to do with that thing? And okay, 1 minute later, all right, you used it. Chekhov's gun. Good job.
Nice.
Well, I have nothing else to discuss if you guys don't.
No, I'm good.
I just want to bring up the cool moment of where like the occupant fucking like chases and kills Zhao, or like it's like the only like horror moment in the game. I forgot about that until like right now, basically.
Oh yeah, that part was great.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good.
it was like the only part that was like a jump scare. It was so like in your face and like jarring. Yeah, I think the game in like the first couple chapters did really good like jarring cuts like that. Like it was fucking awesome, including the like Iris killing Zhao's clone.
And like, I feel like I don't have a lot that I want to bring up right now, just to like explain it why I'm not saying a lot here. I guess is like I don't feel like I have a lot to discuss, and that's not to say there's not a lot to chew on. I just have things that I can like praise this game for. Like I just think that the way that the keepers interpret the discordance of humans being interpreted from Bach and turning that into the discordance of the virus with crying and everything, like all of that is just so fucking
I thought that
good
was cool
as an idea. It's fucking great.
No, I agree. I think that's fucking badass. I also like the fuck you and fuck Bach or whatever Iris says.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's just like so many little things like that that I think are just great. Like the reveal of BBF and Fixer still being alive, and like when BBF kills the Red Guard. Like there's so many good individual moments that it's hard to really discuss them narratively for me, but there's just so much that I want to praise this game for.
I know, I agree. I think there's a lot of cool small things like that for sure.
Yeah, I think the mechanism that by which the virus works is really cool. Like, the way that they feed on memories, right? And they figure out that people crying generates fat memories, and they end up literally making people cry to death so that they can feed on big memories, big emotions. I think is a
And
very
like
interesting narrative choice.
yeah, and like I feel like there's there's so much unique creativity to this game with stuff like that, because I feel like that kind of idea, like if you zoom out a lot, has kind of been done before. This is gonna sound crazy, but like I'm thinking of Walking Dead style zombies where like you make like sound and they congregate and they become a horde, and that's what attracts this force of nature to you. The idea of people just getting really sad and that attracts these godlike aliens to basically accidentally kill you is so enthralling to me. I think it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I even like the weird sort of like interpretations of like how the occupants, like, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, powers, I guess, work, which was like um and this is me like making some assumptions where I kept trying to figure out like why the fuck can we live, or why the fuck can Secretary access um Iris's mom and dad's memories. And the only thing I can come up with is like actual like genetic sequencing where you have genetic memories that get passed in DNA, and the secretary can access those. And I think that that's like a weird, cool little detail.
I thought it was because like all the memories were stored in the planet. Like that's why they preserved the planet, so they have access to them forever and ever. And then Iris, and then they showed him with Iris because obviously uh they're pertinent to her.
Yeah, I wasn't sure like how the scope of all of that worked.
I definitely don't know. I still don't really know why they kill people. I don't. I
But
know.
like the I guess the reason why I thought that is just because Watcher seemed like she could only access memories that were pertinent or related to Iris.
I mean, I think the reason they kill people is the discordance idea. Like they thought that humans enjoy this level of discordance because of like the vibrations of tones and yada yada yada, and they thought that they were helping by like creating the virus in the way that they did. they like, I don't know if it's intentional. I just don't think they see the people dying as a bad thing for us or for them.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
everything is trapped in the cage anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that the occupants were meant to be viewed as like a malevolent force, like intentionally.
Yeah, I just didn't understand like why when there's a lot of emotion they show up and kill the things that are there. That's the part that I didn't get.
Well, I
It's
don't
not that
think
they
that
kill it;
they.
it's them being present exposes people to the virus. I think.
Well, no, I thought they
Yeah.
killed them because like what's his name in the ship, they all have like masks on and shit, but it looks like that they like got picked up and then like slammed or some shit.
Well, I think that's because Iris had some degree of like control or agency over their actions at that point, because she was like, "Yep, here's my memories. I know you're real interested in me. Now I can like levy some degree of control over you." And she leveraged that control by making it fucking kill everyone.
So like it needed to it shows up because of the like the intense emotion and then like it's Iris's manipulation that
Yep.
kills them.
That was my reading of it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's attracted there, or it's insinuated to have been already nearby, like lurking the entire time, like the alien in
Yeah,
Doctor
yeah,
Who Midnight. Them doing that shit caused it to come inside. At which point, Iris could be like, "Oh, that's convenient. Let's kill all of them."
Okay. But yeah, that's the part I
The
didn't know because like I don't understand why they would kill the people because I understand everything else about like why they like memories and like the discordance and thinking that they like it, but I just didn't know why they showed up and killed motherfuckers in those ship.
Yeah, that is a little confusing now that you brought it up in that way. But I guess what about this game isn't
Yeah,
confusing?
maybe I don't know. Maybe I just took everything at face value, but I just assumed it was them feeding on the memories or something. And because their quote unquote language is so alien to us, they don't understand that they're literally killing those people or something like that.
That's close. I don't think that they feed on it. At least I might be wrong. But they don't understand like the concept of death because they think that like memory, as long as memories exist, then that is existence. So like death to them means nothing.
Yeah, it's basically like are you dead when you sleep or whatever. The occupants don't have a concept of death. They just see data loss or data transference.
Exactly.
And to them,
Yeah.
death is not data loss, it's just transference because they have the cage.
No, but that's what they say. Yeah, they say that exactly, right? They say like death is nothing
Yeah,
more than lossy transfer or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah,
and then they have the cage, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I don't know about the feed part though. Like that could be right, and I could have just missed it. But I thought that they weren't like evil at all. Like there was no sense of evil. It was just the
yeah. No,
circumstance of them being
I think
around that killed people.
yeah, I think that is 100% correct.
Yeah, and I mean that just like goes into some of the themes about like communication and miscommunication
Yeah.
and different interpretations that the game touches on. Like it's an alien species that we couldn't communicate with, and there was a fundamental mistranslation on so many
Mhm.
levels.
I mean, if there's anything that is like directly near inspired, it's those guys with the virus and like
Yeah.
and Project Gestalt and all that. Like that's the biggest near inspiration that I see the game got from.
Yeah, again, that's why I praise that idea by itself because that's the closest something has gotten to the near gestalt replicant
Yeah.
situation in like any game I've played since then. Uh, question for you guys: Did the when the occupant event happens in chapter 5, was there actually an occupant? Like what
I
happened?
think I think the answer is no, but I never found an answer to this even close to anything that I looked at. But that's a good
Yeah,
question.
because like that's I was gonna bring that up when you guys were talking about whether or not they're malevolent, but like, what the fuck happened if there wasn't one there?
I
I
feel
think
like it was like Principal or something that staged it, but I have no info for this whatsoever.
How could
Yeah.
you have even done that?
You just need
Bombs and
access to the
alarms.
yeah, you just need access to the ship's controls, right? And they already have access to the sky and everything, so I imagine it's just in the same place. But they don't allude to it at all.
I always assumed that it was some sort of like foul play because like at that point it's pretty much said that there's only one occupant left,
Yeah.
and it is the occupant that's like obsessed with Iris or whatever. And so like why would it have like left anyone alive? Because I feel
Yeah.
like clearly it's got like the power to just like murk everybody.
Exactly. Like if it wanted to, like at the end where it catches you, like if it wanted to show up, it would fucking show up. And the fact that you don't see it is why I think it's like a staged fucking false flag event.
Well, yeah, that is a tough question.
Yeah, maybe I need to play Chapter 5 again because like that thing where it pivots to the sky and occupant event was such like a shift that I just completely lost all memory of what was happening up to that point.
It was something cool, right? Where like things kind of felt okay for a second. Isn't that why it happened? I remember feeling that where it was like, fuck, man, things were just starting to feel okay.
Yeah, they were about to like do some kind of celebration. I can't fucking remember.
Oh yeah, it was the new Fixer graduation.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh right, yeah.
And then that bitch died.
Immediately died.
Murked. We should probably start moving towards wrapping up. Do you guys want to do awards?
Sure.
Let me get back to... Okay. What was the first one? The everybody's favorite sister, Ben.
For me, I put Bartender.
Bartender's a good one.
That's
I wish they gave more spotlight to Bartender.
I was only thinking of the core sisters. I didn't think of the extraneous.
Yeah, you could pick anyone. You could pick fucking one like germaphobe sister if you really wanted to.
I thought she was the main sister in my heart.
Yeah, Bartender was awesome. I wish Bartender like had more of a spotlight for sure. Tom, you want to
go? Yeah. My favorite was Nowhere for all of the reasons I've talked about 1,000 times. I just think she's like one of the most like layered and difficult characters to kind of like absorb. And I think anytime she was on the screen, something interesting was happening.
Yeah, the cool thing about this one is I don't think there's a wrong answer except Principal. Like I think if somehow you landed on Principal as your favorite sister, I think that makes no sense.
Mauve.
Yeah, Mauve too.
If you wrap up like Principal into youngest, I could maybe see like
I can see Principal for sure, but not Mauve.
Definitely not Mauve. Yeah, if you pick Mauve, you're a fucking freak.
Fuck Mauve, fucking weirdo.
Despite all of the like rallying cries we said earlier about how the game seems to judge her too harshly, she does fucking suck.
Yeah. Satu, you got?
For a serious answer, I'll say BBF, but my heart wants to say not Iris, the actress that plays Iris in the play.
Oh yeah,
so relatable,
dude.
So relatable.
So good.
Like, wait, what's my motivation here? Just go off script. Oh, okay.
Dude, the fucking the don't press the button moment where she's just doing the fucking creepy ass like tell me that you miss me kind of shit was fucking
Call me
awesome.
A good girl.
Yeah, that shit was awesome.
And that is also an example of a great performance.
Yeah, I wish they didn't fucking like even make that an option, like to press the button early. Like I think that's a mistake.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think my favorite was probably Healer because I really liked like Healer's like "fuck you, you gave up on Fixer" communion thing. Even though I think kind of in the second half of the game they just kind of forgot about her.
I think they forgot about her.
I feel like she kind of lost. Like I feel like everyone who isn't Nowhere kind of lost the spotlight after their communion happened. The communion happened rather. It was more about like just Watcher and Iris and Principal and everyone else. Like Fixer kind of took the spotlight back a little bit.
I don't think I disagree with that, but I also don't see it as a bad thing.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I do think it's okay for Healer to take a backseat there because Fixer was gone for so long that she probably did need more of the focus. So I do agree, and I agree with like literally everything that was just said, I guess, by everybody.
Yeah, same. What's the next one? Favorite chapter, which I think this is hard because all the chapters kind of blend together.
Not
if anybody has anyone.
Like they're all very like discrete in my mind.
It's tough for me to remember what happened in 4 versus 5 and then 6 versus 7, basically.
Yeah, 2 through 4 specifically kind of run together for me.
Exactly.
All of the rest are very like distinct.
Yeah. And then I think like 7, 8, and 9 happened so quickly that I think that I could easily flip what's in what in there.
I don't remember what the chapter number was, but it's ever whichever one is when you're kind of synchronizing Blue with Watcher, and I don't know, it was like at that point of the game where like it started feeling like I started having agency and I could start to like positively affect the outcome. That's when I started getting like super invested, and it was around that part where like you awake as or like kind of Watcher kind of comes back from the dead. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Is that
Like whatever
7?
chapter that was it 7? It
I
might have been
think
7.
that
It's
was 8.
it's 8, yeah.
Okay, it's 8 then. Well, that's my favorite chapter.
Nice.
I
Seth, do you want to go?
guess I'll go. Sure. If that one was 8, then I believe this one was 7. The Watcher interrogation chapter, which I believe I could be wrong, but I believe that's also the chapter when mother and father dance, and that is a 10 out of 10 scene.
Was that the same chapter?
I think it was because you like flashback through the interrogation rooms, right?
Okay, so in my mind, then 7 and 8 are the same chapter, or like they blend together for me. Because, well, I guess like, damn, they're good.
Wait, did you say the riddle chapter, Seth? Or did I
No,
mishear
isn't
you?
No, no, I said the what? I said the interrogation of Watcher chapter.
Oh, okay, my
yeah, and
bad. I
then
heard my brain thought of that as like the fucking riddle part with the occupant. My bad.
oh, okay,
I mean, that one
gotcha.
was really good.
Yeah,
Gameplay wise, that was
that
my
is the
favorite
same.
part. But
Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, I mean, I think the dance is the same, but I
Yeah, no, it
could be
is for
wrong.
sure.
Yeah, because you flash back through the interrogation.
Yep.
Yeah, that
The
chapter is
dance
fucking
shit was super
incredible.
cool. I was
Yeah,
confused
very
the
good.
first when I went to it because I thought I had to interact with
Yeah,
it
it's
because of
when you
kind of
get
all
to
the
the end,
rules.
that
Yeah,
last scene hits so fucking hard. Like I cried during that part.
yeah, that part was super cool. Yeah, I think for me, I think it's Nowhere, the chapter with Nowhere's communion with like the riddle with the occupants and everything. It's 4 or 5. I have no idea which one it is, but yeah, I thought that one was badass.
Did Thomas go?
I don't
No.
think so. Tom, what do you got?
Mine was also chapter 7.
Nice.
I think chapter 6 was like a really big left turn in the plot, and then chapter 7 serves as like the like real sort of epistemic like pivot point where you start really kind of crystallizing like what the story's message is about.
Yeah,
And I think it really like it examines like the core theme of memory in a lot of like in a variety of interesting ways. Like you're in an interrogation, right? And so the interrogation is like a way of trying to mold someone's memory into a new shape, or like trying to not a single like rope of causality, but Watcher's mind literally can't focus long enough to actually allow that to happen, and she's just sort of drifting like in and out of these different memories. And um, I think it felt like chapter 7 was the point where they took all of these like clones and robots and sisters and really humanized everyone. Every single person gets humanized to a huge degree in chapter 7. The parents, Iris, Knower, like literally everyone. And I think it shines a big light on their motivations, and I think it was really, really important for them to take the time to frame Iris in a more tragic way, because up till then they were just framing her as completely fucking monstrous.
hmm
And the way that they did it, I thought was like one of the most beautiful fucking things I've ever seen in a video game in my entire life, which was taking the scene of the first communion between Iris and Watcher and Knower and just showing the like mundane video of her mom's life in Hong Kong as they just like drove around. And
Was that chapter 7 too?
it's the end of chapter 7, yeah.
Oh
And
my god.
I just thought that that was like a really quietly like poignant way of anchoring Iris and her sisters in like the real, like the capital R quote real past, rather than like the performative way that the communions operate. And it grounds them in something like really anti-romantic and ordinary in a game that like refused to like accept ordinary before that. And so like I think it was a really cool way of just trying to say that like not everything in the world is like worth saving has to be this like bombastic mythical or tragic thing, and sometimes like the memories worth preserving are just ordinary street sounds and overgrown grass. I fucking loved that chapter.
Yeah, I just want to say, now that I'm realizing that all of that is in the same chapter, that chapter is absolutely like fucking 10 out of 10, fucking incredible storytelling, like goated shit. Because like I think in the hands of a significantly worse writer, that it could have been an incredibly gratuitous chapter where you're just watching, the character that you played for 5 chapters get fucking tortured and all of this shit, and it would have been just misery porn. And I think that a worse writer would have seen that as kind of the end of a three end of the second act of a 3-act structure, and think, oh, okay, my character has to be at the bottom of the barrel so that we can rise up in Act 3 in chapters 8 through 10. And I think that the writers and creators of this game, they have that theatrical background, so they understand the 3-act structure. And I think that with that understanding, they saw that as too much and decided to add all of these like moments of elation and calm and serenity into what would otherwise have been a gratuitous chapter. I just think that's fucking masterclass.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it like parlays into telegraphing that like Watcher is going to die. Like by the end of that chapter when Fixer and BBF like break into the interrogation room, like it's like self-evident. Like Watcher is just not gonna make it. And it sort of like casts the chapter in like a weird sort of light where like the entire time you're watching Knower like just toe the line between torturing her but also trying to save her, um, and like for every like decent thing that she does there's like a horrific thing that she does like almost immediately afterwards or vice versa. And there's just so fucking much going on in that chapter, and all of it's good. It's like so, it's for what it is, which is just like a single perspective through like a person in a padded room. There is so fucking much going on. It's crazy.
That's all we got to say. Play it.
Yeah, just like when Watcher woke up and they were like, "Whatever you do, don't do a communion." She's like, "You communion now."
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, like at that point, like she knew she was fucking toast, so might as
But
well.
she didn't, though, did she?
It
I don't
was
think she
like
did.
it seemed very much telegraphed that she was going to die at the
Well,
end.
no.
Of
But
chapter 7.
she didn't know
she
that.
knew.
We knew
Yeah,
that. She didn't.
secretary had to tell her. Yeah.
Yeah, and Secretary thought that like we were a fucking iris plant, or no, sorry, Watcher thought that we were an iris plant until Secretary was like, "No, dude, you're dying during the communion." But
I
yeah,
missed
like
that.
the player knows for sure.
I mean, you're both correct.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to go to camera shots? You guys got any
Yeah.
screenshots?
I didn't take screenshots, but I can. The ones I described, I'm sure you guys will remember.
I mean, mine is like I wanted to go with one that I didn't think you guys were gonna pick, and it's this one, and it's how early they just show you the fucking alien and how sick this fucking shot is.
That was my third. I almost went with it for my first.
You're mad. I screenshotted that too. It's not my
Goddamn.
favorite, but I did screenshot it.
Fuck. I tried to
Oh, I
pick because
do
I
really
like the
like that
obvious
one.
one that I was gonna pick, but I didn't have a screenshot of is when what is it? Iris is talking to her mom. The one that you posted earlier, Tom.
So that's 2 of my top 3 right there.
Oh yeah, the dance one is fucking awesome. And that
then-
one's like yeah, that's a big lighting highlight for sure.
And then
Even if we're-
absolutely like first place, not close. One of like the greatest shots I've ever seen in any sort of artistic medium, video game, movie, or otherwise, is this bad boy right here.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Even if we're just posting the screenshots, maybe describe them for listeners.
Go ahead, Tom.
Wait, what am I doing?
Describing.
For the listeners.
Yeah, so the one that I posted is the scene towards the end. I believe chapter 9, towards the end of chapter 9, when Iris is getting her memories overwritten so that they can overload the occupant. And it's just her sitting in the stairwell with the red shadow or red lighting cast over her, with her mom sitting or standing below her in the stairwell with the blue lights, as Iris is just asking her mom, like, how did you like manage to cope with motherhood, as like they're kind of mutually bonding over it. And her mom is sort of lamenting, like, yeah, it's a good question. How the fuck did I deal with, being a mother and dealing with like post-traumatic paranoia and all of this shit? And the outcome of that, as like the color sets the stage with like Iris's like harsh red fucking rage and her mom's sort of soft blues underneath, and she just answers that it was her dad that was keeping everything together. I think that that is a very poignant, beautiful scene shortly before Iris stops existing entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to steal this one. This is like one of the best scenes for me.
Yeah, and then the other two that I posted just as like stuff that I really fucking liked. One is the dance scene in chapter 7. Absolutely incredible. Just the way of like demonstrating, like, even in times of like global tragedy, global trauma,
Yeah.
like sometimes it's just important to try and fucking let loose to just reorient yourself back into the like almost absurd. And then the other one I posted, I think that's from chapter 4, maybe, when youngest is staring up at the quote unquote sky. Not a
Hmm.
real sky, but with Watcher in the communion standing right behind her.
And then the one that I posted is basically it's in chapter 1. It's one of like the first like crazy things that you see, which is just seeing the occupant in Picture Joe on top of the rooftop of the school.
Mine, I'm gonna give two answers because like I can't decide. I think I have a favorite, but for different reasons. I wish I had taken screenshots of them, but the first one I'm sure you guys will remember. I'm pretty sure it's in chapter 1, and I think it's when you go into the gymnasium for the first time. I think, but all of the floating kids with the spotlight shooting down on them. You guys remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
The floating, is that when they're all like blacked out and they have the halos around them?
Don't remember if they have halos, but it's showing like all of the kids that got hit by the virus,
Oh no,
and
I'm
there's
thinking,
like the
sorry.
bright white light in the background. They're all just floating, and it's like
Okay,
water
gotcha,
below
gotcha,
them.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
think that's chapter 1, because what Jordan posted, I think, is the end of chapter 1, and I don't think you go into the gym. But regardless,
I'm
I do
not
know
sure.
what you're talking about.
In any case, that's one of them, and the second, I mean, the dancing scene with mother and father in chapter 7 is pretty fucking goated, especially for what it means and the story. And it, compared to the other one I mentioned, the dance scene also has that great aspect of moving backwards in time, so you just keep seeing them move through all of the different memories, still dancing.
Yeah.
I think that's very powerful.
Fuck yeah. God, this game is, for a game whose fidelity is dog shit, boy, did they use the camera to great effect.
Yeah, I think when I saw the fucking like the sky one that you posted, I think the reason why it didn't resonate with me as much is because I hated the sky texture that they used. But I think that's very nitpicky, so I didn't bring it up.
Did you did you want to do favorite knock knock
Favorite
jokes?
knock knock joke? I figured you guys probably didn't even write one down, and if you did, it's probably the same one that I wrote down. But yeah, if
Knock
anybody
knock.
has one, who's there?
Tank.
Oh, it's not the same one. Tank who?
You're welcome.
That one was good. I forgot about that one.
By
Anybody else have
default,
one?
I just said whatever the last one was because like just it had a narrative purpose that was kind of like inverted from like being humorous. You know what I
Which one
mean?
was the last one?
It's the one where Blue actually says knock knock.
Oh, isn't that one sick?
Yeah,
It's like
it's
no one's there or something.
yeah, I remember it being so good, but I don't remember what she said. But like, I
Yeah,
just
no,
love
I'm
the
with you.
fact that she was the one that said knock knock.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It was sick, but I don't remember what it was at all. It's something like no one's there, or yeah, I can't remember. Seth, do you have one?
I'll be honest, I couldn't remember any of them because I also think that the only one I saw was can't remember. I was trying to find it on the wiki or something, but I couldn't. But it was a very dry one towards the end of the game where it's like very dark humor kind of knock knock joke, but I can't remember.
We
what
might
it
be
was.
talking
Might-
about the same one.
It might be the same one.
I mean, it might be mine, which is knock knock.
Who's there?
Snow.
Snow who?
Snow use. This joke will never be funny.
It might have been that one. Yeah.
Yeah, when
that was a good
BBF
one.
did that, I was like, damn, that's fucking hilarious.
Now, BBF is great.
Are you guys want to do scores? Oh, go ahead,
I don't
Seth.
think I really got into it when I was talking about favorite sister, but like BBF, I think out of like the core sisters, I think she's just fucking incredible because she's. You could maybe make this argument for Nowhere, but I feel like BBF is the most easy example to understand one of the core sisters that really struggles with her purpose, and I think it's just very engaging, the like arc that she goes through.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think that it's very interesting. Like, I think she is the sister that has the most pronounced like arc, like development. Like, she by far changes the most from beginning to end, and the fact that they made this like super kind, compassionate class clown, like childlike character the fucking like military defense person is like crazy.
Also funny how it's like Knower, Watcher, all this fucking like what they are, and then Bang Bang Fire is the one that should be called like
Yeah.
fucking Attack or whatever.
Yeah, I think everything about that is great.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. For me, like the reason why I picked the healer over BBF is basically like the same thing. Like it's the easiest to like kind of sympathize with like her struggle of like having to constantly clone these bitches and then they just like die and all that shit. But I think
Yeah,
I think she didn't have as cool of a transformation as BBF did though. Like, because BBF felt like she evolved a lot in the second half, and I feel like healer just kind of fell to the back line.
I think if I ever play this game again, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for the thing they mentioned in that dev interview where they talked about healers' toxic positivity, because I didn't catch a lot of that when I played, and it sounded interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I'd have to play that again because I definitely got the sense that she was it wasn't toxic positivity as much as it was just like almost what's the word? Like just all I can't think of it, but like she doesn't give a fuck, but she does, you know?
Yeah.
Like she's really
Yeah.
trying to put on a front that like nothing's that serious, but you know she's fucking crumbling underneath.
I think that plays into kind of what I wanted to see in characters, of like them having emotions. And I think because her base is Iris, she can't really have that emotion. I think she's like the closest thing to like super like sympathizes to like the tragedy that they're all experiencing.
Fuck, I might need to play this game again.
You want to do scores? Ben, do you want to start with your score?
Yeah, sure.
Wait, how do we do this with the reveal? Oh yeah, we were gonna reveal after he says it. Got it.
Oh, okay. So should I just give the score?
No, yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Okay,
give your spiel.
I give 1000xRESIST a 10 out of 10. I thought it was a great fucking game. I almost want to play it again. Not right now, but at some point in the future. And I don't replay games that often anymore. It also helps that it doesn't take a lot of effort to play this game.
Oh, I didn't consider the lack of effort angle. I think I only. Oh, I should have considered that.
You didn't think Ben gave this game a 10?
Oh fuck! I thought I hedged at 9.5. Ah, god damn it! I fucked up.
Wow, you guys fucked up.
I swear to God, I think I made like a second guess today, and I thought hedging at 9 was going to be better.
No,
But
hell no.
I think I initially had it at 9.5.
I thought, because Ben always has very insightful comments with the UI stuff, I thought he was going to tear into this game's UI, and I thought that was going to bring it down, but I was just way off, I guess.
The things that I hated about the UI are not the things that normally concern me. Like visually, like the principles of art and design were implemented extremely well. Like the very near automata-esque UI. The
Yeah.
parts about the UI I hated were things about like kind of like the functionality of the mini map and stuff like that. But like the stuff that offends me about UI are usually like things that like anyone can tell just by using their eyes that it's wrong. You know what I mean? Whereas the things that
Okay.
I dislike are things that like you can't really get bothered or frustrated by unless you play the game like and deeply like try to feel it out.
Mhm.
Gotcha. One day I'll understand.
I can't believe you guys didn't look at his like this was a war crime when he posted Astrobot and then go, oh, he thinks this is a 10.
That is a
I-
war crime. Astrobot, Game of the Year. Are you fucking joking me? If okay, this might be a hot take, but if this game came out this year, it would be Game of the Year for me.
I mean, it's
You
fine.
did rate it higher than Claire Obscure?
I did. I did that on purpose. I actually felt obligated to rate this game a 10 out of 10. And
I mean,
yeah.
I think this game is absolutely on a similar like echelon as Clair Obscure, I think.
Do you want to go next then, Tom?
Sure. I sort of neglected to write up one of my like big bombastic closeout statements, so I'm just gonna go off the cuff here and just say that gameplay wise, mechanically, this game's totally fine. The moment to moment gameplay is engaging enough that it keeps it out of like the Edith Finch, like this is barely interactive at all territory. Um, the UI is fine. Sometimes I like it a lot actually. Like certain elements are awesome. I think the music in this game, even though I don't know if we really talked about it as as much as I thought we should have, I think the music in this game is fucking absolutely outstanding. The visuals are just kind of okay, but the way that this game uses color and lighting elevate them to be vastly more than the sum of their parts. But narratively is where this thing swings for the fences like fucking Ken Griffey Jr. and absolutely blasts it 700 feet into the fucking next town over. Um, I think the way one thing about this game that is another thing we didn't really touch on is that even though this game is very dense and has very high emotional points and there's a lot going on like in all of the various junctures, it was written with a very deft hand. Like one thing that can drive me crazy in games like this when they try to have a lot of thematic depth is just kind of like bashing you over the head with it and just being like really, really heavy handed. I would even accuse Claire Obscure of doing that sometimes, but this game did it in such a subtle and brilliant way that I don't think I would like fault people for having trouble analyzing certain aspects of this game just because it is so subtle and so complex despite the just like bombastic fucking nature of it. And so I think given all of that, like one of the first things I thought after I finished this game was, holy fuck, I need to play this game again. Like just to try and really wrap my head around some of the fucking onion layers that is the plot and theming of this game. So I'm not gonna drone on too long. This game is a 9.5 out of 10, and it is very close to a 10. I think there's just a couple inconsistencies, and the way that I wish that visually this game stacked up to the quality of everything else, but um, yeah, it's a very high 9.5 out of 10, and this game is incredible and should have been Game of the Year over whatever the fuck Astrobot is. Y'all nailed it.
Yeah, I hedged at 9 for you because I thought you were going to be, again, like, it's basically just like hedging. Like, because Ben, I would pick a 10 every day of the fucking week because I knew he thought it was a 10. Without his comments, I probably would have thought he was somewhere between like 9 and 9.5.
If I think
yeah.
a game is a 10, it will be like really
Yeah,
obvious.
that's why I was like, I don't think Tom's going to 10, and so I don't think he's going to 8.5 either, so I'll probably just put 9 because I think it's an easy hedge.
Sesh, would you mind going next? I want to see if I'm going to be a dark horse or not.
So I could say I don't. Obviously, I thought like the gameplay was like either serviceable to frustrating. I didn't talk about it because I think I'll bring up the same point every fucking time. But if you have a forced walking segment, you better be doing something interesting during it. And I think that this game never did that every time I was forced to walk, and that drove me crazy. And then again with like the performances, I thought like the performances like weren't stellar, and I think that a lot of it is based in like Iris being like sociopathic and everything like that, which like I understand, but it's still like that's something that I like in games. And then the music just didn't resonate with me like you guys, and I'm not saying that the game has bad music. It didn't click with me like at all. I thought the game had great like sound effects though. Like I expected this game to completely just have like Foley library bullshit and to not have like anything that was like cool sounding, but I think that they did like surprisingly well with that. Uh, and then yeah, so for me it's going to be an 8.
Oh, did I get it? I think that's what I guessed.
I
Fuck!
nailed it. God, I nailed it on the money.
Nice. And Ben
Man,
thinks
that
I hate
was-
games.
That was terrible tonight.
I did almost go lower. I think I tempted the thought of 7.
Based on what you said leading into that, I thought it was going to be a 7.
No, I think the everything the game does in the narrative, like I basically wanted to highlight why I was giving it an 8. Like I think like everything in the narrative is like super cool, and interesting, and there's like a lot of small things that add up too, more than like the overarching thing. Because I think Nier and Clair Obscur does like an overarching thing better than this game, but I think this game has a lot of cool like small nuggets all over the place.
Yeah, like I think the thing that separates the like the 10 out of 10s from the 9.5 out of 10s for me is just like even though like there are small flaws that you can point to in those games, like they are the whole fucking package. Like they are fun to play, they are fun to listen to, they are fun to like see the story of. Like everything is just like incredible. Whereas the thing that knocked 0.5 points off of this game is just like how how could I justify Nier Automata being on the same tier as this game
Yeah,
when the game is like so much more fun to actually play as a video game.
I think for me, like the performances and the music held it back like probably the most. Like specifically the music, I think if this game had like a Nier music soundtrack for me or like Clair Obscur, I think it would probably be like a 9.5 almost. But like
I
I
think
don't
it's
know, like
crazy.
I like I literally can't think of like any of them. And every time I try to think of something, it's just like kind of simple piano things that like remind me of like Blueprints' music kind of thing.
Really, the things that stand out to me the most are like the electronic tracks.
Yeah, the fucking Tangerine Dream like spacey synth tracks, those are fucking so good.
I don't know. Like while I was playing, they just didn't register at all. Like they might be, but yeah, that's why I could just say like it didn't hit for me.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What do you got, Seth?
So the beginning of this is actually going to be a little similar, almost segue-ish from what Sesh was just talking about with the gameplay. The experience of 1000xRESIST to me was a 10 out of 10. However, this game is not a 10 out of 10. If I'm judging a game, I'm going to judge it as a game. If I'm judging a movie, I'm going to judge it as a movie. If I'm judging a show, I'm going to judge it as a show. This is a game, and I'm judging it as a game, even if I felt it should have been in a different medium to a more powerful effect, in my opinion. It's okay if you guys disagree with that. Similar to Sesh, I felt that the gameplay was extremely lackluster the vast majority of the game, where it could have been engaging. I felt there were several missed opportunities, like I highlighted earlier. I thought that even though this game did a fantastic job of like mitigating whatever losses or like mitigating its lack of assets, it did a fantastic job of that. It still didn't have that many like stellar assets that I was super impressed by. I'm thinking of things like the lack of animations or the lack of committal to no animations because they still had scenes with animations, shit like that. However, that all might sound like, oh my god, he's going to give this like a 6 or a 7. No. I think that the narrative of this game might be one of the best narratives of any game I've ever played. For me, the narrative itself is up there with Automata or the original Nier or Clair Obscur. It might even be a little past that for me because of the incredibly unique way that it presents everything and the creativity and understanding of the theatric medium like I described earlier. like if I were to just judge it as that, or if it was maybe in one of the other mediums that I described, this game would probably be a 10 out of 10 for me. But it's a game. I will judge it as such. Thus, it is a 9 out of 10.
That's higher than I thought, for sure. Oh, that's higher than we all thought.
Savage.
Yeah, like I said, you guys metagamed us. We had no
I
information.
didn't metagame you. I didn't say anything.
You meta.
If it makes you guys feel any better, when I finished the game, I had a strong feeling that it was going to be an 8 out of 10 for those same reasons. But as I thought more and more about the narrative, the themes, and how they lingered in my mind, much like Claire Obscure did, I felt like I had to bump it up a little bit.
Hey, Jordan, what was your score again? 8.0?
8, yeah. Yeah, I kind of waffled the same way that Seth did, but from like 7 to 8. And then, yeah, I think this game could like literally never be higher than an 8 for me, but I don't think it'd ever be like lower than an 8 either. Like it could almost be a 7.5, but I think that's kind of a little bit of an injustice.
Yeah, I feel like the difference between me and Sesh's ratings just comes down to our disagreement on the performances and music. I feel like that's all it comes down to.
I thought you were agreeing with me on the performances for the most part.
No, I thought the performances were incredible.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I just thought there were a couple that stood out as...
Sure. I think a lot of mine is music.
I wonder if I didn't totally represent myself great earlier. The performances could be good or they could be bad. I just don't know how much they were given to work with at times, you know? Like, I don't know.
I think the whole...
on it, but I think I have a higher opinion on the performances than you do.
Yeah, I don't think the performances in this game are like perfect. Like I said, I think there's a few like glaring instances where it's like pretty uneven, but like I said, those are like typically, for me anyway, they were like one-off characters who only have like a couple voice lines, so it wasn't like a big detractor in a game that's got thousands of voice lines that a few of them were kind of shitty.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like did my feeling about Zhao bring my opinion on that down a little bit? Yeah, but like you guys are right. She was still representing what she was supposed to represent.
Yeah.
I just did not view it as a powerful performance as I interpreted someone like Johnson the 50.
I mean,
Really quick, I just want to say how pissed I am. I know I had guessed Ben at 9.5 because I knew I was going to hedge in either direction. And if I had kept that, because I guess I must have had brain fog earlier today when I was editing my guess for Seth, it would have resulted in Ben and I both having perfect guess scores for each other.
damn. I can't believe Seth is at a 9. That's crazy.
I really wasn't sure if I was going to, but I don't know, man. Game lingered in my head.
Yeah.
I think I actually had you at a 7, and what I changed was bringing you up to 8, and that's why I changed Ben's to 9.
Just
I
curious,
thought that
why
was
did you
a
think I was at
better
a 7? Did you think I was a 7 like leading up to this? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Like before we started talking, when I made my guesses, I had you literally said 0 words about the game. I had no information.
I thought that there was going to be like the lack of like riveting gameplay, and then I think I just projected my like music didn't hit onto why I think you were going to go down to like 8.
So there is only one game for me ever that is an 11 out of 10, and that is Outer Wilds, because the base game is a 10 out of 10, and then the DLC made it an 11 out of 10. If this game had like automata levels of gameplay, it would have been an 11 out of 10 easily.
Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, where I think if you do want to be like, I struggle to think of a like visual novel that I could rate 10 out of 10 just on principle, to be honest.
To be fair, this isn't really a visual novel.
Yeah, and that's my issue with it. If I was judging it as a visual novel, I would have had a higher opinion.
I like no gameplay adventure games like more than visual novels, but nobody does this.
Yeah, like I was saying before, like with visual novels, the thing that drives me crazy is that I read so much faster than the visual novels go, so I feel like I'm being neutered in my ability to like digest the novel at the pace at which I want, and something about that just drives me nuts.
I just think the lack of free exploration to go like see cool rooms is kind of what visual novels truly lack. Like you wouldn't be able to go see like the prayer room or the mirror room with like the fox skull or whatever the fuck animal it is or things like that if you're in a visual novel. Like if you did, it would be so fucking annoying. Like you just go to a screen that doesn't do anything. Like go fuck yourself.
Why don't we go ahead and get wrapped up since we're now over 3
Yeah,
hours?
yeah.
Thomas,
gotta
would you
go.
like to spin the wheel?
I can't really hang out.
Oh shit! I
after
forgot
this.
about that. Who am I spinning for?
It's not
It's just me and you, buddy.
Oh, is it not Ben either? Did Ben
No,
pick?
I did Torment, so I'm already
Torment
out of the
was-
rotation.
Oh yeah, the last it saves the last thing I had in here, so it's just between Seth and I.
No, wait, isn't it? Hold on. Ben wasn't
No,
included.
it's right.
We just reset. What games did
Oh.
Ben pick? He picked Final Fantasy 16 and Torment. He didn't pick 3 games, did he?
I
And
think
he picked Life Lessons as an intermezzo.
No, we did it right.
I'm
we're
confident
doing,
we did it right.
We did it right. Trust me. It's Thomas and Seth are left.
No, but I don't.
It has something weird to do with the fact that Ben came in like in the middle of our rotation, and so we added him on at the end, so it kind of screwed with things.
All right. Well, I've got 2 people telling me that it's right, and I don't know the answer, so I'm just gonna spin. Seth
I
and
still stick with it. It's wrong, but I'm not gonna. I don't feel like it's worth it.
I hope it's not me because I don't know what I'm gonna pick.
You can just steal my pick if you want. Since you've been talking about one.
I thought you said you're gonna. You literally said in the channel. Oh, never mind. I know what I'm gonna pick earlier.
Yeah, but I'm waffling.
You're a bad bastard.
All right,
Well,
thank
let's
God.
fucking spin. Oh,
He spoiled it
Oh, is it me?
How do you know?
because you said, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah, that could mean anything though.
Yeah, it means it wasn't you.
Look whose name it's on in the thumbnail.
Yeah, it's Seth. Skip to the end, bitch.
Easy clap. Okay. Herein, we discuss Baldur's Gate 3. And I will only be choosing Baldur's Gate 3 with unanimous consent from everyone in here at this moment. Recorded, so I have proof that we can play Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
yeah.
I think Baldur's Gate 3 is fine because what I was going to choose could operate as an intermezzo, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. We'll have to talk about it.
Yeah, so I know, Sessh, you said you can't stick around, so we don't have to. We can talk about it in chat channels later. But for listeners, we're going to play Baldur's Gate 3. More than likely, what's going to happen is we're dividing it into 3 separate episodes with 2 to 3 weeks in between each one episode for each act, and we'll have intermezzo games for each week that we are not discussing Baldur's Gate 3. So, because next week we'll obviously need an intermezzo game, I brought it up enough that I kind of just want to get your guys' opinion on it, and it'll be like a super short one because I don't think we need to go deep into it. So I think for the first intermezzo game, if I'm allowed to pick, I will choose Mimic Logic.
So, and to provide some additional context, all of us have played through Baldur's Gate multiple times other than Jordan, who will be playing it for the first time. And how long do we want to give ourselves to get through Act 1?
I don't think any longer than 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think any less than 2, and I don't think any longer than 3.
I was thinking
So
probably
3.
I was thinking probably either 3-2-2 or 3-2-3. I'm not sure which, but Act 2 is almost certainly 2 weeks.
Yeah, Act 2, we can definitely pare down a little bit. Yeah, I think that works. I think that's acceptable, and we can just kind of posit intermezzo games amongst ourselves after Mimic Logic.
And to be clear, if we're giving ourselves 3 weeks, that means our discussion of Act 1 would be on the 25th, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that means we'll need another intermezzo game for the 18th.
So I actually the game that I was going to put forth, and the reason I say it's a perfect for intermezzo games is because it's 3 games, and that was the Hello Charlotte games. The first one's 2 hours, the second one and the third one are both 3 or 4 hours apiece. I know they total up to less than 10 hours on how long to beat between the three of them. So we could just do like one a week, maybe, if you guys wanted to.
Sure. And we'll call that an episode.
Fuck yeah.